before all that, right, is to get the intent right first.
Okay.
I think in the first timers, right, I think they can never buy their first one because I want to stay, I want to invest. So I call a lot of people, actually in Malaysia, not a lot of property investors, a lot of home buyers.
They think they're an investor.
They think they're an investor.
They buy homes. So, Sean, I got 6 property. No, you got 6 homes. So this one for your weekend lah, this one for your first wife lah, second wife lah. Then it becomes like all costs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so when you really look into like data type, right, those are the properties that most often you won't want to buy.
To stay.
Because it's just not rational. It's such a crampy place. Why would people pay such a high rental and things like that? Sean, I don't like. It's not whether you like or not. You look into the rental and things like that.
Yeah, of course.
That's when the decision-making process becomes very, very complicated.
Before we begin the podcast, have you gotten your free ebook? It's called the Build a Six-Figure Portfolio Guidebook. Now, inside it, we share with you the tips and tricks to bring your stock investing skills to the next level. The best part, it's only 10 pages long and it's totally free. Whether you're on Spotify or YouTube, the link to download is in the description, or you can go to www.firl.co/FREE or www.firl.co/free. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the FIRL Podcast, best place for long-term stock investors. Today, it is long awaited. Maybe not for you guys, but definitely
for us.
And we're going to do a slight detour, but it's going to be important for you regardless, right? You're an investor, so you're interested in all sorts, everything related to finance. And our detour today will involve Mr. Sean from the YouTube channel IHERNG. Welcome to the podcast.
Yo, what's up? It's actually IHERNG though.
IHERNG.
But no worries.
IHERNG sounds like, it's like an iPhone product.
iCity or you know.
But Ipoh ma.
Ipoh, true.
Yeah, actually true.
Island.
Yeah.
It's Malaysian style.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously today we're going to talk a lot about properties, right? And I think if you go online and if you guys are listening to this, you go online, YouTube or whatever, and you search IHERNG podcast, you can check out his podcast as well as some other podcasts where he share with you his personal stories. And today's podcast is not really about that. Because there's really a lot of good content out there, especially when you were on YCS. It's a 3-hour-long podcast.
You cannot let it go.
Almost 4 hours.
Almost 4 hours.
No, he's a diamond about it because I beat him one time. And then he said that he has to come back second round to be the longest. So that's why he's fetish about it.
Yeah, I always want to be the longest on YCS. But anyway, so there, you want to get the full story, head over to the Yamcha Sessions podcast, type in IHERNG. And I guess I want to start off by saying basically today what we're gonna talk about. Right, I think the first thing is of course a little bit about your background, but fundamentally is how do you get started in properties? What are the pitfalls, as well as your sharing, right? Some of the mistakes, some of the things that you've done right that really help propel you to become someone who actually owns multiple properties, right? So I just want to start off by asking you, right, before properties, let's talk about money, right? What was your relationship like with money when you were a lot younger?
I'm only money-minded. I was very money-driven. Okay. And like Asian families, right, how they make you study. 1A 50 lah.
Oh, so that was the incentive.
Really, I didn't get that, man. No wonder I get C's and D's.
Auntie, sector auntie. The thing is, so that kind of like strive through whatever I was studying. So like how many A's, then you got how many bucks. And
so how much do you get per exam? How much usually you get?
So I'm surprisingly, a lot of people don't know this. I'm a straight A student. So my SPM is like straight A, like 13 subjects.
Wow.
Oh, so it's 650.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So that's a bonus if you can excel all. Then with all those money, right? A lot of people would ball on them.
Yeah.
Like PlayStation, Micro Genius, Sega, Mega Drive, whatever, right? But surprisingly, I was not in that category. And my father then was on the other extreme. It's like, if I were to go to like private universities back then, if I were to apply, right? Why you are so obsessed with all the rich kids? Don't learn or adopt whatever the rich kid does.
That's your dad.
Yeah, so he's more on artistic, cultural kind of things. That's why I'm a music teacher also. So I play in orchestra as well. Yeah. So my family. So I was brought up in a situation where I know money is very important because on my mom's side, where the family is more like diverse in investment, like stocks and properties and things like that. And that is where I started. So got one time, last time, my home back in Taman Sri Muda was flooded.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So after flooded, right, then I was transferred to my auntie's house for 2 or 3 weeks.
While your parents clean it up, like.
Yeah. So what happened is then she brought me around to look at properties.
How old are you?
That time was like 12, 13. So that was the very, very first thing. So she just drive around. Then every now and then the dinner table will talk about which property they buy and how they make money. And like, then you being a kid, you only obsessed about Sonic, right? Right? Then until when I almost graduated, then I go back and teach. So I was teaching Kumon as an instructor.
Man, nightmares, man.
Yeah. so I
Wait, you teach until which level? Which
highest complete.
Wow.
So I prepare students for completion.
Wow.
Yeah. So
then I reached K only for me. Then K.
Man.
Yeah, it's very,
yeah. So but K so K, M, and O. So I think then you almost graduation already. But the end part is really like you don't know what you are studying already lah. Yeah, differentiation, like when
That's why I was at K.
The rest all was still relevant. I think. Anyway, but then after that, then I followed. So I stayed over, and she then brought me around to the factory areas in Sungai Buloh.
So she was a realtor, is it?
No, she was just an investor.
I see.
And she was helping a friend to collect rental.
Wow.
Okay.
Then my role then every morning she'll we'll come away. Then okay. She always bluff me with breakfast.
At the end?
Then okay, good. Then when we reach a particular place, then go down and collect the check. Go down and collect check. The first month, okay lah. Second month, third month, then I start realizing why are these people paying her money? And after a year, right, they will increase for the rentals to her. And I'm like, what is happening? So she just casually, when a young chap asks you a question, you just casually answer like, they're paying for space. It's stuck until today.
Paying for space.
Because for a lot of people who are fortunate enough, like we all have homes at PJ or Subang, right? We will not understand the concept of rent.
Yes.
Until we start paying them.
Correct.
Then even for a room, a pigeonhole like this costs $600. Nothing on a tie, window also don't have.
Yep.
So then you start to realize that, hey, quantity of space is one thing. Then when you go to college, then you see like, hey, why certain rooms are better. Then quality then comes in. So then only I realized that, hey, real estate is a thing. Then then at that same time, because of my studies, I kind of flunked my A-levels. Although SPM
from a straight A student to
no 50 ringgit lah, is that right?
No, that time no more already.
Incentive gone already.
That's the reason.
No, because after that, when I was in A-levels, I was working part-time already. I was teaching music, I was teaching sports, I was selling shoes. Then
hustling lah.
Then when you see income already, right, then you realize the academic portion of things, right?
Yeah.
I pay the lecturer to scold me. Then on this side, I actually make money on my own. Then you start to not focus on technical stuff anymore. But that allowed me to be learning in a few aspects. Number one is suffering. So when you work for other people, right, then you understand the value of money.
Yeah.
And that was also instilled since very young, like 11, because it's my father's factory. So I was like taking up gunny sacks. Then I was working in a chocolate factory before for Cadbury. So I was a tester. That was the best job. I thought that was the best job until the second week.
After when you got gelat already.
Yeah, so I know which one got the raisin one, which one got the fruit one, which one the dairy milk one was the best.
Yeah. Objectively. Why are raisins there anyway? I don't understand chocolate raisins.
Yeah. So after that, then back to the A levels time. Then I kind of flunked. Then I went into a uni that I didn't like. So I was doing, because I was good in math. Then people just thought that, hey, very conveniently, you're an engineering dude. Yeah. So I was studying engineering. So I went to the school, right? Mechanical, applied maths was my strength.
Wow. Okay. Oh, that's not easy, man.
So applied maths. So applied maths is differentiated into two: mechanical and statistics.
Correct.
Right. So I will never understand what is H for statistics. so my statistics almost fail. Always like single digit marks, but my mechanical was full.
Yeah, vector and all that.
Yeah. Then everyone like at what velocity the ball will raise up or raise down.
Yeah. I did applied maths. So
then I went into engineering. Only when I kind of gave up when I studied material
sciences.
Yeah, so because you need to know like the degree between atoms. So you need to switch that degree, then the strength of the material becomes way higher.
Tensile strength and
yeah. Then I'm like, okay, this is enough lah. Then I went and applied for architecture. So throughout the architecture, right, that was the Asian economy crisis time.
97.
Yeah, then my father's business was not very good that time, so it was affected. Okay. So I was the boy, because of the excellent academic, right? The boy that was supposed to go for scholarships, but I didn't.
So your dad had to have a backup plan.
Yeah, so he like, okay, you know what? I just got tuition fee. You need to figure out the rest. Okay. And in architecture, the first semester is your pens. The pen set, right, and the drawing set is already $300
to draw your blueprints and the designs.
Yeah. And the pen is like, it needs to be it's like technical drawing pen, something like fountain pen.
Yeah, cannot use G2 pilot pen.
It's different thickness.
Yeah. And then we need to draw on different paper, like butter paper. Then the
butter paper.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, the baking paper. Really. So that's how people design. So last time when floor plan above floor plan above floor plan. How do I see the relationship between second story to the first story?
There's layers for you.
Mahjong people cannot, right?
The transparency is not.
You need that transparency, but you also need a certain durability of the paper, is that right?
Yeah. So but that was all design stuff.
Okay.
Then at that time, technology was not as advanced, so computer gadgets was terribly expensive as well.
No AutoCAD that time, right?
Got,
but very expensive,
Yeah, and the camera, because our homework is like to submit photos for architecture.
Oh man, there's no such thing as an iPhone 4K that time. I'm very sure.
My digital camera was 4 megapixel, and it was $800.
That's a lot of money back then.
Then you need to buy the rechargeable battery, and every battery is like the Energizer one is super expensive. So every assignment costs money and money and money. And the end of the semester, then we have the final presentation. We need to print out our ideas and sketches and whatsoever for a particular development in maybe 3 A1 size papers.
Oh, that's big.
Like this wall.
Yeah.
The printing itself is like $500-600.
And your dad said, I'm only going to sponsor you the tuition fees. So all these ancillary fees are actually...
So at that moment of time, I need to teach tuition, need to hustle a bit, and just to get my my submission done.
So roughly how much that would look like a month, let's say, just to submit?
Let's say 3 months per semester. So around 500-600 a month.
Wow.
Yeah. And then like sometimes your marks are also based on the materials you use.
Ooh, it's so unfair, man.
That's why it's like when we need to build model. So sometimes you use cardboards.
Yeah.
So you being thrifty as we just use cardboard, right? Then some people use perspex, like transparent one. Then now you got people using 3D printers.
Oh man.
So because architecture is very relevant to technology, and the lecturers actually appreciate. So there's two types. One is a very romantic towards like old school art stuff, and some is a very advanced towards
classic.
So you want more advancement in technology and 3D printing model. So we can score then. So too bad lah. So the subject I didn't do very good lah. Then because of that, time, then I need to hustle on the side.
Right.
And being in architecture school is already tough enough.
Yeah.
Like people in architecture school don't sleep, man.
Yes.
Yeah, I always wondered why actually, because I have friends who say the same thing as well.
Because there's no end to creative process.
Oh man. Okay.
Let's say I have this absolute building in mind I want to present out to communicate the idea of the building, right? I have 3 weeks for doing up the communication, which is the drawings, the essays, the pictures and all. But in that 3 days time, your brain is still moving. Hey, this corner, I can do extra. Hey, this angle I can improve, right? Then you improve, then you need to redo the whole thing again and again and again and again and again.
The iteration of it.
So that is when I only understand there's never a perfect idea. So a execution part of things are actually more important than the idea. You can improve on a C idea and present it in a B+ manner.
I see.
Really? Oh.
But you have a A+ idea, but you couldn't finish a communication.
It can be a C+.
You will fail.
Oh.
So like your oratory skills when you present in front of your lecturers or even with your friends, I don't know if you present in front of your fellow mates.
Yeah.
You not only have to be, basically it's marketing lah.
Yeah.
So you have to market your design, right?
Yeah, an unbuilt building.
Wow.
So you need to justify how you use the space, how you respond to site, and it's a very subjective manner.
Of course. Creative, yeah.
Yeah, so at that time only, I need to cope with schoolwork at the same time work part-time. So generally, like during the other podcast, right, in a week at that time, right, I only sleep 24 hours.
So average about...
So average will have 2 nights without sleep.
3 to 4 hours a night. Yeah.
And when we plan projects, right, okay, like let's say today's Monday, Wednesday submission, 12 o'clock, right, we calculate the hours without considering sleep one.
Of course.
But so you're working with a team lah, right?
Both. So there are individual and there are teamworks. Right?
Okay.
So after that, then only I need to prepare, because everyone else on year 3 was preparing for school in overseas already. So we finished like, well, architecture, there's 3 parts, part 1, 2, 3. The second part in Malaysia at that time, not available yet. So we need to go overseas. So I had a school that I want to go to in Australia. Then I calculate, wow, 30 USD, 30,000 Aussie.
Aussie. For one semester.
Excluding the amenities and
I think
all that.
school fees only. So like my idea is like, okay lah, let's go there, pay the first 2 semesters, then I work at the same time. I've worked here already, so what's the big deal? Then I did that. So right after graduation, everybody was very happily applying, go party before they can go to overseas. 3 months before my graduation, right, I was already hustling in terms of figuring out ways to raise money. So everyone was reading design magazines. I was reading Personal Money. It was, I think, one of the age publication like for newbies.
Yeah.
And that's how I started in stocks.
I see.
So I was trading in stocks very young. And the one of the very rare things is I start by warrants.
Because it's you can get huge volumes, low price.
If I lose $600, screw it. Yeah. But if I were to raise, like if I were to made it, right, straight away. So from 600, I made until like 10, 20,000.
Wow, solid, man.
Then, but when you thought that that's good, it's not good enough. Then after 20,000 can do what? You turn to Aussie, it's like
it's not even 10K Aussie, man. Yeah.
Then after that, when I go to after graduation, then I was how to raise money. That was the ultimate objective. How to raise money for school fees. Then I got into gold trading, the illegal one.
Okay.
Then that is where you make a lot of money also.
Yeah.
But I was just an investor lah. So they tell you, promise you very flowery
guaranteed
rates,
returns, right?
Yeah. So I made it like, because I had insider, so I exit out pretty fast.
Yeah.
Then number 2 is I got into selling and buying for real estate. So at that time, then you start to figure out, I sold my first property. It was a factory. And I did it in a matter of days.
Okay.
And the first paycheck was like 17,800.
So that really opened your eyes again.
Then you then wonder like, why do people work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then when people start to look at this manner, right? then you understand how people make money and how people become slaves for money.
Mindset.
Yeah. Then I start drilling into real estate. So I was trading, I was selling factories, houses, whatever lah.
This was before you went overseas for your.
I didn't. So end up I did real estate for like, by books is like 1 year plus lah. But I actually worked for 6 months only.
I see.
Because that 6 months I was the best rookie. Because that time iProperty was basically free.
Oh, for listing.
So it was very cheap, at a very cheap rate, and whatever I post, right, it will close on the same day itself. So you start to wonder, and when you are a 21-year-old person, 5-figure, gone case, this person gone case. I was basically living in clubs.
So this interesting part, right? Because leading up to 21 years old, because you had to like raise money for your degree and all these other costs, and you were, as in your own words, people were partying and you were not. But then when you've got that big money and then now you're partying or you're in clubs. So like walk me through that sudden change, man, that transition.
So it's a transition when you are poor, then suddenly when you have easy money.
Okay.
So I think that's the right definition of easy money. So when you have easy money, you don't really realize the real value of it. Then when people still go overseas, to me, I'm still like somewhat like a loser. I'm still in Malaysia.
Okay.
Figuring out whether I want to go overseas or not.
Okay.
So after I raise my money, good enough that I can go for the first year. Do I still want to go? No.
So you change your mind.
You want more.
Because if I were to go, I come back, right? I look at their salary. I can never achieve that.
Yep.
Right. Then after that, then when I come to awareness that, hey, why not I sell hotels? Why not I sell malls?
Same.
Why not I sell land? That's why I went into Masters of Real Estate.
I see.
So I have a Masters in Real Estate from University Malaya. And I was the youngest chap there.
I see. Most of them were more senior realtors.
All was GMs, people with titles. So I was
and all that.
So I was working with people's assistant.
What?
For assignments.
What?
Let's say team assignment, 3 of us. I'm working with your assistant.
Yeah. Because they're too busy running the business.
So I was that youngest chap in the class, right? Then that opened up a lot. Also, like, wow, you get to sell more. This is when Mid Valley was on sale.
Wow.
Oh, that time because it's strata, right?
No, they want to transfer over to now it's IGB.
Yeah, correct.
So, what? Mega Mall? Then at that time you understand horizons really. Then when I see bigger things, right? Then I got into development. So that's at the same time as my studies, I was working. So I joined this development company and there start 6 years. So I was stuck there for 6 years. So when you go back from 5-figure, you go back to a normal 打工仔,
which is below 5 figures. At
so the interview process, I was a very, very bad person. Because I was getting a pay cut, a massive pay cut to come and learn. And they treat me like I'm getting paid like some grand salary. But then I was like so young, so naive.
Yeah.
Then so I start to realize that, this is how people got stuck. Then I was okay enough because I witnessed certain people who made their money and party all of them away. So I had some savings and I immediately followed the Ho Chin Sun map. So this is when before MRT was up.
Oh yeah.
So that is the step-by-step guide, and I think like okay, I have this amount of money, and I only thought that 10% was enough to buy a house. So I had 30,000. Then I will go around the map lah. Hey, where you got 30,000? Meaning 300,000. 300,000 close to MRT that is yet to be drawn out. Then look. Then I found one. Then when I pay the down payment, then only the other fees
start coming in. Then you have this realization again.
Then other people say 10% anyway. The funniest thing is that when lawyer fee, this is lawyer fee. Okay, I pay lor. Then the bank lawyer fee come.
Yeah.
Aren't you guys the same guys? Then at that time I was delaying payment because I didn't have any more money already. I silang everything, right? Really just silang 30,000. Okay, finish.
Right.
I need to have my next month's salary to clear off. Wow, that was intense. So I learned that the very hard way.
Actually, I just want to unpack a little bit about the part where, you were willing to take a pay cut from earning 5 figures from commission and then going back to a takong or a salaried guy, right? What were the thought process and the emotions? What were because why I want to ask you that question, Sean, is this. You see a lot of people having very, very cushy jobs. And then they struggle to say, hey, but John, I envy you, or MJ, I envy you, or Sean, I envy you because you are in a way financially stable in some sense, right? But take us through the process of willing to take the humble pie, willing to be uncomfortable, and willing to be able to know that only if you do this, then only you can progress, you know?
Honestly speaking, I was not that matured to think of that. So it was merely a decision made because I looked at my fellow teammates and the same team, right? This guy, 52 years old, doing the same thing.
That's good.
Then I was like 21. Like, I want to do that until I'm 52. Same thing. Every day, go and hang the number. Then hello, you want to buy? You want to buy? So to me, no value. But so it's like nothing much of skills involved. And that time I had more awareness that I'm not a person that's only with money. So like money, like go to 5 figures, very good but then no difference when I'm not that happy. But when I learn new stuff, I feel more alive. So when I got into the development company, that's one of the most complicated things ever, man. To get a raw land and to build something and to sell and based on REITs.
You know what? That's a fantastic discussion. So I think because a lot of our listeners are stock investors, and they always ask us about, hey, why don't you buy? Do you want to buy EcoWorld? Do you want to buy Satya? And one of the reasons we give is that development companies are very complicated. We know that from the outside. So now, as an insider, can you like really spell out to us, right, what complication means?
So that means from the point where they get the land bank all the way until...
how do they even get the land? How do you get the land?
Okay. So this depends whether this company, whether want to go public listing or not. So if it's a PLC,
it's like private
one, then whatever the founder says. But if it's public listed, then you need to go through a lot of audit processes.
Correct.
So the audit trail needs to be fulfilled. There needs to be no middleman. Need to have whatever, right? So, but ultimately, these are land banks purchased mostly several years back. That's why you look at the bigger players in the market, right? Those are old rich. So they bought and
the old wealth.
And a lot of companies just to enable them to be listed, they need land banks, I think 1,000 acres.
I didn't know that.
So for a development company to be listed. So you see a lot of northern part of Malaysian's land bank all belongs to this. So that's just the criteria part. But then when you go into it, so when I get a piece of land, we need to think about several things. Number one is plot ratio. Meaning like how much can I build? So there's a limitation to 60% of land only I can build as floor. So let's say it's an acre, 43560 square feet. So it's per acre. So I can only build 60% of it as my plinth.
Your plinth?
Plinth is my floor area for the tower. So
this is by law.
So a general rule of thumb. So when I was following my mentor back then, and then he brought me there, like, hey, this land can buy. How you know can buy? So he broke it down in a simplest way. 3 things: land cost, development cost, construction cost, plus your profit. Then can this match the market value of the surrounding? If can, buy.
But how do they scout? Actually, I'm always very curious, right? How do they actually scout for this? Like, especially in an urban, take us through an urban area and take us through something like, let's just say the first guy who started off in Puchong. Because like Puchong, if you talk about 20, 30 years ago, right? Who would have thought to go there? And
So based on experience, like a lot of these places starts from agriculture. So a lot like the
palm oil,
mining. All this starts from agriculture. Then there's a small town. Then they just built from the town.
I see.
So you see a lot of developers was not from building development kind of company. Right. So then the other question just now you say is after you get this into the market rate, you compare whether they can buy or not. Then only we get into the consultant part. I need to engage on board like 6 main consultants. The architect, then the M&E engineer, the structural engineer, the geotechnical engineer,
soil,
then the planner, surveyor,
town planner, right?
So some zones you can build ratio up to, you can build a high tower, not to use so many jargons. Then the other one you can build only a low tower. So sometimes like old time Subang, you cannot build apartments. Because Subang Airport was still international.
I see. So flight landing path and all that.
So until KLIA was up, then only put the Subang turned into a city now. So that is the restrictions, and it's alive. It's ever changing. Then at that particular moment of time, you get to build this amount of ratios and things like that. Then you need to see whether the market can take or not.
I see.
And this is the balance, right? Where you need to consider your cost, your quality, and speed. So a general speed from raw land to launch, it's around 2 to 3 years.
Well, that's pretty fast already, actually.
That's the typical.
Typical. But you have seen, so based on my experience, I've seen certain developers 6 months, 8 months.
From raw land to launch.
Even before when they buy, they know they are in the deal already. They start planning and they go already.
I see.
So these are developers where they are more on the margin side of things.
Okay.
So some developers are more on the arts side of things.
I see.
Okay.
So part of my inspiration to start a channel also is when, how do I get into the same level with company founders? Because when I was working, then I was like interviewing Tan Sri, Datos, all this kind of thing. And I was always the guy doing the presentation. Pressing the next button.
I see.
Very, very smart. Wear tie, go into the boardroom. Next. That was my only role. Then you realize that, okay, generally, development business in Malaysia are all family-based. And how do I get there? My akong not that rich also. His land choice was in other places. So I can never be at the same level. So then, and when these people then becomes conglomerate, right? Then it's even harder to catch up with.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So after that, when they built with all these decision makers in the family. So what I'm trying to say with the family dynamics, right, is certain in the company itself, you have a mixture of corporate culture and family culture.
So it's intertwined.
So sometimes it's not whether the fact is right or not, it's who said it.
Who said it, right? So in your experience, right, of course we're not going to name the bad ones, but in your experience working with many of these people, right, what would you say are some developers out there where you feel like management is top quality? In other words, it's more like systematic, it's more
institutionalized,
kind of, instead of I say we go kind of.
But I think public listed one generally by the books are already institutionalized. Wow, mouthful. So I think that there are proper governance into it already.
Okay.
But then like what I'm seeing right now, I'm really into those smaller scale.
I see.
Developers right now.
The ones up north, the ones
not
here.
in Malaysia, in Klang Valley also there's a few.
Okay.
So just to name like Tago, Suntrack.
Legenda. Do you consider Legenda big or small?
Based on who you're comparing with.
Okay, true.
So these are the guys where that spirit of development, it's really like they can tell me like, okay, you know what, this aircon latch, we drop 600, right? Because it won't, when you put in the compressor, your window is raised 500, it won't block your vista, but then it's still functional, the hot air won't go into the... You're the MD, right?
So he's still, what you're trying to say is the MD is still very hands-on, very detail-oriented. That's what you're trying to say.
But then when you go into big companies, right, they don't even know what they are launching. Because to them, right, they design buildings by Excel.
Oh, man.
Ultimately, when you go into the real, whether this building is a go or no go for development, for launch, right, it's based on Excel. And sometimes when you see companies now, then they're pulling back on the launching because 3 years, let's say to complete a building is 3 to 4 years. Margin now is around 10, 12, 15% per project.
Net na.
GDV maybe 500 million. You think about it, right? Spread across 4 years.
Wow.
Provided sold out, what I get.
Yeah. It's very thin.
Might as well I just hold the land for 4 years and I sell. Margin-wise, it makes more sense and less risk.
Yeah, less operational risk also.
Yeah, so for now, companies that are not as focused in development, they have side gigs one, right? I call them side gigs.
Other income.
Other incomes, right? Then now they are actually skewing towards the other side.
I see.
So not like last time, like 80s, right? The development companies are the biggest one.
Yeah.
Because everybody slowly know how to play the game. And because government now also instill a lot of new regulations. Like the 30% regulated, you must have the compulsory social housing. You build 100 units for sale, you need to build 30 units for...
Right.
Those, you guess who are paying the bills? So...
Yeah.
Those kind of things, then suddenly I call the developers, right, rare Pokemons right now.
The real blue developers are rare Pokemons.
Yeah. Very hard. It's very difficult to become a developer already. It's getting harder and harder. Now with the HDA account, meaning whatever money collected from the purchasers need to go into an account before I can use them for construction.
Escrow is in a way an escrow to protect the buyers.
Correct.
Yeah.
So building on that, right, I think this is something that is, to me at least, quite hidden to the public, which is what are some of the key regulations that actually happens for development companies? Because I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, there was a huge property run-up from, I think, 2010 to 2013, 2014. And there was a regulation that actually came in that actually essentially put a halt or even slowed down the property market. So what are some of these important regulations, right, you feel that an investor needs to know or a developer needs to know as well?
I always think about this in the way where it's like current, the tide comes, right? So when the tide is rising, all boats float.
Yeah, correct.
So this tide is actually government initiatives. And several measures or switches, I call them, like government will only switch this off. FD go down, the interest rate go down.
Interest rate, yeah.
So I want property to go up.
Correct.
I switch up RBGT, will kill everybody.
Yeah.
So like we had the 10% RBGT.
Yeah.
Then I give HOC now, so people go crazy when I want to control again. So these are the switches that government use Besides that, then you have the different implementations, like a new government comes in, I need to be a populist, I need to win votes. I want to set. So it's very easy to just announce like, okay, everybody can get more affordable houses. Guess who is paying the bill?
Yeah.
The people who buy. But all these are not taught in that process.
Yeah.
Of course.
And this is a topic that I speak quite passionately about in the channel. So the complication also revolves around restrictions on building. For example, let's say in KL City, I got this land and the price of the land is depending on how much I can make. Like that will dictate on how much whether I want to buy or not. So if I would have a plot ratio, for example, 10. So this was when I was a rookie. Before election was the best time to appeal. So 10, I cannot make money We are building not enough because the land price too high. Okay, we just submit, we request for 18, for example. So suddenly I can double up whatever I built. Then suddenly it makes sense.
The density increases, then it makes sense. Yeah.
So these are the things that are more dynamic. And then the source of land. Sometimes it's free market, sometimes it's gazetted, sometimes it's this and that. And on the previous World Cup, then we have a lot of these kind of incidents happening where developers can advertise their ads on World Cup advertisements. Then like, whoa, where do they get the budget? So I'm very familiar with this because I was the guy who was sent by my boss to go and study. How can this developer sell this property at this price?
With that kind of marketing budget.
Because construction costs, right? Everywhere the same one. Quite universal. Your concrete and my concrete, same one.
Don't tell me different steel
from
grade.
Space, from the moon one, this concrete.
Right? But then the ultimate difference when you look into the three costs again, land costs, construction and things, right? Development cost, construction cost, same one.
Yeah.
Land cost is the variation.
That's why the advantage of having the right father that is very important.
So I got my land at 50 years ago in your price.
Huge difference.
And so with all those dynamics, then you start to realize that, okay, I can never be a developer.
What about DIBS and all that? Because you remember in the past where there were a lot of property scams, like if I'm not mistaken, Bukit Beruntong, all that, right? Where developers were not finishing off their projects, and there were a lot of new regulations that came out to protect the buyer. Did that in a way affect developers, one, and secondly, because of that, did it shut down the lousy ones in a way?
Both.
Okay.
So like when you say I think that created the act, the HDA.
Yeah.
The
Housing Development Act.
Yeah. So
Is
that
20 what
I
year
can't
is this?
remember.
So that time Klang also got a lot of building unfinished one.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
The place that we go.
There's one very famous one, Berjaya Times Square. At the side there, there's one condo, because a common friend between Amanda and I, Albert, he actually bought that. That was his first property. He never completed.
And the worst thing is this: when you sign the loan agreement, right? They build up to maybe 20%.
Yeah.
And usually 20% is the best time to zao low lah.
Because the disbursement done, and then that's the enough for you to make.
Yeah, because that is the concrete stage. Actually, concrete and steel are cheap and very easy to build.
I see.
So those are the meat
I see.
of the construction process lah. When you come into architectural stuff and you need to build in the basin, the WC, tedious, but then not as much meat.
I see.
So all the people zao low only when concrete stage. So if you see a lot of abandoned buildings, all left at the concrete stage.
So it's 20% lah.
20, 25. So after that, the cabling and stuff, the M&E stuff, those are very, very expensive.
Tedious. Yeah.
So after all these are being abandoned, then the government only created this HDA and to protect everybody. So for those not enough money to roll in the initial start one, those are eliminated. So I think it's a good thing. I definitely think it's a good thing.
Okay.
And that's the difference between buying residential projects and buying commercial projects.
Okay. Tell us the difference.
Residential is protected by HDA.
Okay.
Commercial is not.
There's no regulation that. Wow.
So your billing, right? So HDA also covers your billing schedule.
Okay.
Your payment schedule on Schedule H. So your foundation, when you pay 10%, when the foundation completed, then there will be an architect and a QS to certify the job on site. Then only they will send to the bank to release payment to the developer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So all these are done.
Yes.
So not I say complete and complete.
Yeah.
But on the commercial side of things, they can straight away bill you whenever they want.
Huh? I didn't know that. Okay.
Meaning like for foundation, I can straight away charge you 70%.
But isn't the resident project manager or the architect actually signs off on the progress claims?
Correct. Just that the schedule of
is determined. I see.
So like now, based on HDA, it's fixed.
Okay.
So if you're buying a new project, so like 10%, 15%, 15%, 5%, 20%.
And then there's
like
5% LD after 2 years or something like that, right? Yeah.
So that's a fixed one. The developer cannot take up more money in the start.
I see.
But as a commercial project, you can. So it's up to him.
I see.
And if you're not happy, they can change one. So it's up for you to draft. So me being so when I was in a development company, I had the freedom and also I had the opportunity to build 6 different projects in a year.
Okay.
So we were building a school, we built a theme park, we built residential, we built commercial, we built high-rise apartments at the same time.
All sorts of.
Yeah.
So you look at the dynamic, and suddenly when we quarrel among team members, right? Hey, why you want like that one? Mine want like that one. Oh, only we understand the difference.
The nuances in between.
So because of that phase, right, that lead me to a lot of this kind of knowledge where on a normal conventional progress, a person will, from land, I build up to planning, then only I go full construction, then only I will understand one full project as a high rise. Then I will start all over again as an assistant manager, maybe. Then I start all over again as a manager. So every 3-4 years only you up a level in your corporate life.
Understand.
But to me, I was all jam-packed. into
baptism of fire.
So then that is also when we go on site, we speak to a lot of people on the ground. I was also doing sales at the same time. Then you realize that, how investors think and how people think of developers. They only thought that we have 2 departments.
Which were? Which what was the
marketing?
Sales and marketing and construction. So we build and we sell only ma. No, something is that build and collect money.
Yeah.
So that actually opened up a lot because me coming from architecture, that allowed me to see things in a greater scale.
Understand.
So my personal satisfaction in my daily work, right, is when I get to document buildings. And now like I get to show off 50 years down the road, right? Last time it's not like that one.
Yeah.
Last time got no LDP one, you know. Before LDP, Tamil Mega and SS2 was same clan one,
Then after that is
until LDP. So with all these kind of stories also, when back to my aunt's story, and my uncle all start buying and they sell, buy and sell, right? To me, it was very normal. Then when I bought my first apartment also, my mom said, go ahead lah.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of like
friction.
Yeah.
But then on my dad's education side, so they like, why you invest? Why you so money minded? You shouldn't be so money focused. You need to be
career driven.
You need to be a kind person. You need to be a person of culture and things like that. So yeah, also because I got so extreme in money, I was so focused, right? Then I had like at 22, I got my first one. Then I got one property every year.
I see.
Buy and buy. Until I got one in trouble.
Okay.
That changed the entire perspective all over again.
What was the trouble you got into?
So I was too bullish. I bought into a property where it's way beyond my pay grade.
I see.
Then I also made a mistake in terms of the financing tenure. Normal house you buy can 30 years, 35 years payment. I took 15 years.
Wow. Why so gung ho?
I didn't know. Actually, it was a mistake. But then I thought, after I realized, after I signed, right, then never mind lah, can one lah, market good ma. Until this was in Johor, until the China developers all came in.
Oh, Sinong, yeah.
So last time per development, you have like 300-400 units. Then when the China developers came in, they launched by 3,000, 4,000 units, 5,000 units. Then straight away the market full already.
Yeah.
So that created a problem. And when the property was fully completed, that is when landed strata was being introduced. Landed strata was relatively new. Last time in banks, right, it's either you buy landed or buy high rise. So it's 24 months term or 36 month term. I was a landed strata. Follow which one? So by month 30, they asked me to pay the installment already.
Wow.
But I still got 6 months before I get my keys. So what am I paying for?
Yeah, you're paying for hope.
Then the weirdest thing, then by the 4th Monday, I get red letter already. And I was in Johor back then. The red letter was sent to my house in KL.
Oh. So you did your parents notify you? How did you get
No. So like, why he got red letter one? Then that's why I personally firsthand received pink letter, red letter, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Then I got into big financial trouble. I was in a property where I cannot afford at all.
So what did that trouble, and the word you used earlier on was it was way above your affordability, right? So what did that actually look like? Because I think some people get this idea. Like for example, right, I went to a sales gallery before. I seldom go, but went with friends. And then they'll tell me straight up, hey, yeah, actually, 70% of your income, no problem.
DSR.
They'll say, yeah, DSR, that's what they say. So this property costs you 2,000. So as long as you have maybe 3,000, enough. So that for me was like, whoa, that is the standard. So what was it in your case? What do you mean by trouble?
I think the installment amount is twice my salary.
200% DSR.
No, actually, the more pertinent question is, how on earth did he get the loan? That's what you need to figure out.
So I look at loan processes, right? Loan approvals as submission of report cards. So for every loan I want to get, right, I must present a report card. But the benefit is I get to prepare the report card myself.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah.
So at that particular moment of time when I need to see you, I need to buat cantik give to you
3 months in advance.
3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Now 3 to 6 months. Then they will see, okay, can you afford or not? Or you got a master's degree, okay, I give you extra. Then, your future with big company, okay. Then you have a referral letter, okay. Then you got guarantor, okay.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah.
So the idea was to get it. And because of the previous successes of my investment earlier, I buy. Back to the first apartment that I pay gum that 10%.
Yeah.
I got the keys. Then I get some neighbor uncle come and fix the lights, fans for me. I immediately ran out within weeks. Then straight away it generated more. The rental was way higher than the installment already.
Okay.
I never need, until today, I think I paid less than 6 months in terms of installment. The rest was all tenants.
Okay.
So with that kind of success and cockiness and
Copy paste on you, right?
hey, what's so difficult, this one? Then until you reach, because I was playing in a way new ground, it was a new location, new category. That was a luxury home kind of category. It was 1.6 million.
I see.
So that got me into trouble. And then like, okay, so where do people go when they have trouble? Then I saw the AKPK.
For those, there's an English term for it, right? It's
counseling agency.
Explain to us what's AKPK.
Yeah.
So it's a place, I think, set up by Bank Negara to assist people with credit card debts. So people who cannot settle their credit card debts because they splurge too much, right? Then this is the place they go lah. But to me, my credit card, I was as stingy as possible. So my monthly installment versus my income, right? Almost everything of my income goes to installment, right? I was spending 600 to 800 a month, including petrol.
Oh, wow.
And that was for 4 years, 5 years. So until like lately, right, personal finance kind of took off in Malaysia. Everyone like, oh, you got buckets. Then everyone got like, hey, no, this you got 10% for whatever you want, 10% for whatever you for family. If you want to get rich, right? Sorry lah. Maybe I come back later lah. So right, then at that time, I went into AKPK with the mindset that they can help me with my housing loan. Then when I go in, okay, then the officer thought I was making a fool out of him.
I see.
He thought I was playing a fool, you know.
He thought he was pulling your leg when you show your finances.
Then he's like, okay, bro, you punya credit card, you ada 6,000. 6,000 settle lah. Tak boleh settle. Okay. $50 for 6 years 7 years pay $50 every month.
Minimum.
Then, so it's like, no, $50 is a fix.
Oh, fix.
Then like, oh, okay. Because at that time I didn't have any money. I didn't even have money for petrol already at that time.
I see.
Wow. So I was that bad really that bad
Yeah.
So, then they look into my housing. Apartment 1 sini. Ini apa? Ini rumah 1.6 juta. You can pay a 1.6 million mortgage, right? You can't settle 6,000. I'm like, I thought I come here for help. Can you help me restructure? Because it's easily said than done. I just want to extend my 15 years. Because I cannot pay 15 years. Every month was too heavy. I want to refinance into 35 years.
Yes.
What's so difficult about that? Cannot. That will leave a black mark in your
secrets.
Wow.
So there's restructuring. So restructuring loans, then they will have a black mark. I say, I don't care whether black mark or not. I now
you survive, man.
Live or death, you know. So I even look into whether is it more convenient to file for bankruptcy. And it's quite convenient actually.
Really convenient. Then you get protected already, right?
Then I got bankrupt, then like then when I got enough air again, then I just come back again. Then like I was at that border already. Then so when they got into AKPK, immediately when I was in the system, they cut off all my credit cards. That's a very bad idea when you only have $18 in your bank account.
And then you can't swipe to roll in a way.
Yeah, no more already. So I go into petrol stations without money to pump petrol.
Actually, credit card is very convenient. A lot of people don't realize this.
Yeah, that's a rolling machine.
Exactly.
For you to roll. So
if you know how to use it properly.
Yeah, then that was really bad. And I couldn't get any credit card for the next 4 to 5 years.
Because of that one incident.
So you mean when you go to AKPK, it's already registered that you've been there. It's like you are a registered offender.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Until you finish the payment, you finish all the payment, and then you need a clearance letter.
Okay.
Only you are out of the system. But for those who have credit card debts, right, it's easier to settle directly with the bank.
I see.
They got discount.
Okay.
Like let's say I got 18,000. I got 12 only can. Can one.
Then do they erase your records, your secrets or secrets?
Yeah.
They will erase it in a way.
So that is only when I know what is secrets.
Okay.
Despite buying so many houses. Right? They're like, no secrets? Can eat one. So after that only you start to realize that no matter what. So it was a very funny thing to do, but it was a very silly thing when you think about it. I go to malls. credit card, they always got free gift one.
Correct.
Yep.
So to me, I was in a state where I know confirm I cannot get card one. So I will confirm get the free gift only. So I was signing the card everywhere I go. Free gift here, free gift there, free gift here, free gift there, until when. But every time it got declined, it leaves a mark.
Oh, yeah.
Then I was playing a fool with it, you know.
I see. Oh, that's a very good insight, actually. I never thought of it that way, actually.
So like every time you apply for a loan that you cannot get one, right, then it leaves a mark.
Okay.
So you need some cooling period before you apply again.
I see.
Then I didn't know. So because of that, I didn't live with a credit card for many, many years. Until like last year only. Because finally, my income has reached a level where I get to refinance.
That 15 year.
So the 15 years one, I already paid up to 8 years already.
I see.
So you refinance maybe like 15 to another 15?
No, sure. So being a capitalist, I restretch it. And now the installment and the rental is at par.
Nice.
For a luxury semi-D in Johor.
It is not easy to do, to get.
Yeah, it's rare.
Very, very rare.
So a lot of people thought like, hey, cannot make money on that unless you take 15 years loan. And that also educated me in the way where I now understand how rich people play property, how poor people play property. We leverage, max, everything, right?
Yeah.
For them, I got money. Right? To them, so the guarantor of mine, he can fully pay up 10, 20 semi-Ds just like that. But he choose to go with me, just like because he got nothing to do. They're like, you know what, 15 years better, you want to save on the interest. So that's how rich people play. They settle in 15 years, they pay less interest. That's why they get more profit.
Because they're thinking in decades.
Correct.
When they make a decision, right?
Correct. But then for us, to me, just to own it, then I hold as long as possible, try to carve out the difference. Maybe in 30 years, then I can make some money. So that's the main difference. And those peers of this particular uncle, right? They buy property for fun. They buy property for trophy purposes. They buy property just for diversification.
Yeah. They don't know what to do with so much money.
Yeah. And that is when I understand a lot of people, including me back then, I buy property, invest property, right, to make money, which is absolutely wrong. It's a way to diversify your wealth. It's not to make money. The money you make, right, is only when you gain from the rental that people pay for you. So like I hold for a property, like my apartment, for example. I work once a year to get a new tenant or to clean out a unit. Once a year only I work. Then after that, then I pay 1 month for agency, the agent fee. Then I continue this for the next 30 years. So I paid 30 times monthly installment. The rest is all covered by tenant. So whatever I owe the bank, so it's now full cash.
Yeah.
And that is how I see money making from property. I was not in the flipping because I bought almost at the peak last time.
Understand.
So now I'm very excited because we see a deep, just deep, very, very deep.
Yeah.
And we see the same patterns again. So I bought a few.
Okay.
And also I followed Amanda, company FIRL Capital. So I bought from there.
Okay.
And again, some go for full investment properties. Some go for half home, half investment, half.
Okay.
Then some people still buy homes.
Okay.
And to me, there's no definite investment strategy because I see property as, if it's so good, right, bankers should be a great success in property investment.
Yes.
But apparently it's not.
Yeah.
So it includes a lot more things like architectural elements, circulation, town planning. And to that, because of that, I'm very, very obsessed. Like last night I was editing until 2, then this morning I woke up at 5 again just to look at a map. I was looking at the Pudu map this morning. Okay, after this new project that I just went and review, okay, in the future, this train station, whose land is this? Then I go and see again, and not because I want to buy. I want to see how one building can change the entire streetscape of the city again. For example, Pudu is a very, very old street.
Yes.
Not very good in terms of impression also.
Yeah.
But how one development changed the whole thing, just like Bukit Bintang.
Yeah. I completely agree. I used to work Jalan Tun Razak and I would always pass through Pudu to get through the shortcut. And the moment they started changing the Pudu jail and started doing that, I already start to see already.
Yeah.
The landscape has changed because it's a lot about perception. Like when you say architecture and all that, right? Can you imagine if the first words if you utter to like your parents 5-10 years ago, Pudu, is straight away drug addicts, all this kind of thing.
For me,
right?
it's clay pot rice.
But now you go, right? You already start to see something that has transformed. Like, Sentul. You know, when was it YTL, they started building capers and all that. You go to Sentul, you wouldn't have imagined it 10 years ago,
Yep.
Yeah.
Then with that, because I documented, because I was at KLPAC, so one of my first assignments was to go into KLPAC and sketch 10 drawings in half an hour.
Wow.
So the whole class failed for that subject. But then what we learned is, so now I have a very exciting theory, like architecture, right? A lot of people thought like amazing forms, exciting forms and things like that, right? But when you look into the rental market, you look into the price, resale value.
Really?
You see fancy buildings, right? No value in. So it's not so much about the building outlook of it, the facade of it, but it's the program of it.
Okay, explain more. What do you mean by
Okay, so a lot of people don't see innovations in development.
Okay.
But a lot of people don't know that last time it's only shop lots and houses.
True.
Then offices is above. And last time, shop lots is called shop houses.
Yes.
Where people run business downstairs, they stay upstairs.
Yeah.
Correct.
But a lot of government officers back then, they take housing loan to buy shop lots. Because it's shop house. So they changed. Now it's shop office. Okay, so shop offices and houses. Then you can see like in older towns, the front row will be all shop offices.
Okay.
Back rows of residential.
I think we see that in section 17 and all that.
Or PJ, or like
yeah,
PJ,
correct.
Klang. All older towns all like that, generally. Then only when they start merging them together,
Okay.
when you start having malls, then you start having hotels, office towers.
Okay.
Then that's when you have apartments, when the new strata law and things like that.
Okay.
Then some genius thought of to jam them together.
Oh.
So it was an innovation in terms of planning,
Okay.
town planning. How do you then differentiate whose boundary belongs to who? Then you have apartments with malls, apartments with offices, then all jam into a hotel. Then you have a mini township, then you have a town planning and things like that. Then, okay, why not just run through the MRT, through it, boom, then you have TOD, transit-oriented development. Then you have transit-adjacent developments, TAD.
Okay. Did Malaysia actually take inspiration from countries like Singapore or Hong Kong? Because I mean, if you go to places like Hong Kong, you literally build the town around the transit points,
Yep.
mini suburbs. Are we moving towards that in a way?
I think that one is way above my pay grade. Because but I personally went to Hong Kong, and surprisingly, a lot of people don't know they only built like 30% or 40% of the land there.
Correct. By design.
By design.
Yeah, by design. So I personally went there for one of my assignments, and because I was broke at the time as a student, the assignment was to go there. If you cannot go there, you cannot graduate.
What is wrong with all this?
Yeah, but
you need to pay to win, man.
Then everyone was at Jordan eating fancy food. I was at the street eating polo bao. Really, legit. So I was there then just to complete the assignment. But there also opened up a lot of things. So then only I realized my obsession towards streetscapes. And that is where I think Malaysia will face, like will go through. Like when I was in Melbourne for a family traveling, right? I was at the junction to see how the tram integrates with the bicycle pathways, with the pedestrian walkways and things like that. I was just like, how does the water flow? If water flow, like where's the
drainage system?
Hey, how do they? Then everyone was looking at the architecture.
The facade lah. They're looking at the facade.
Look, it was so shiny. I was looking at the drain. Where's the electrical cabling? So I only realized that how my brain works. So I'm very fascinated with all this. Then only, but because I started investing when MRT was announced. Now when you're gonna see MRT being completed and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So the differentiation of now you got MRT, you got MRT.
Yeah.
I'm comparing which one got intersection.
So then he has choices intersection of rather than just one single line.
So like Subang Jaya, for example.
So there's an intersection. So I call them nodes. NODs. So
correct.
The nodes are now the crucial places.
The moment he said nodes, I straight away thought of cryptocurrency.
But that makes a lot of sense because now with urbanization and all that, right? I think almost everywhere will soon be near to an MRT. So it's no more going to be an advantage. But my house near MRT. But is it near a node?
So it's like, there's a LRT plus MRT plus monorail
plus KTM
plus whatever. So that's going to be the difference. And because Singapore also took very, very long just to plan out. But then that's one government. Here, our government a bit different, where there are places where they shift away the train. So some people die want the train station to be in their location. But you don't know why is it built there one. But then the public, they don't want the train station to be there because it brings because when you have access, right, it comes with security problems.
Yes, correct.
So not necessarily a train will be beneficial to a location. So all those kind of things, I'm very lucky where I get to document all this firsthand.
I think TTDI was one of those places, right?
And you look at the station, right? Connects to what? Connects to a condo that is 1 million, 1.6 million. So you kind of think of it, is it a practical decision or is it
political?
But to me, there's no way to tell.
Of course.
Until only time can tell. So the residents of that particular building will never use the train.
It's a mismatch in a way.
But then the surrounding buildings. So after the building, then you have the other malls and things like that, which is almost dead. Then all those will start to use. Then again, when you start documenting all this, then now when you have by right, you have the HSR. Then you see the land deals being transacted in those supposed locations. So like I go to Moa, I hear a lot of stories. Those people write to me. So I am in a position where people write to me like 50 to 60 emails a week.
Okay.
Hey, now because of HSR, what do you think? And when that deal go kaboom, now all those land deal then leads back to Bukit Beruntung days. Leads back to my father's purchase in Morib back then, the Gold Coast.
Morib Gold Coast.
The Malaysian Gold Coast.
It was a big deal.
Oh, yes. During those days.
It was a big deal.
Amanda's one also Morib.
Why did it fail? Why did Morib fail? Because I'll tell you what I know of Morib. I always wondered to my dad, because last time we go on holidays and all that, it's always Redang, Tioman. It's always I have to travel, Then I'm like, why Selangor no beachfront, right? They say, go out, Morib. But my dad was saying, but you walk out 1 km, right? The water still reach until your ankle only. He said it's not very low. So that's my only knowledge. So why did it fail? Actually, I've always wondered, like, why didn't it do well?
I think it depends how you define well or not. Commercially, it cannot grow that much because just merely population was not sufficient.
I see.
Like Port Dickson was a big thing. You see a lot of hotels and things like that. Just that the management, I think like the stereotyping of Malaysia, we built first class things, but our maintenance are just not up to par.
I see.
I think it's the same thing. So when I was in a position to see then, okay, why certain factories that my aunt bought, certain house that this uncle bought, go kaboom. This one did very well. And what was the fundamental things that they referred to? What was their reference point in their purchase? So very young. So I was the weirdest kid every time when I grew up. People talk about salaries and shoes and things like that, right? I was talking about, when your house going to complete? No lah, why you buy a house now? Why you want to show off? You haven't buy. This is when I have 4 in the bank already. Then only I realized that, okay, I'm different. So that obsession. And now when I come out, okay, so I just recently got 2-3 years only I got out of the debt of the trouble, right? Then only I said, okay, this is how people with money in the bank. I was always rich in books. Or you had the latest valuation report to suggest that, okay, you have 500,000-600,000 worth and things like that. Your property is making money and things like that. But I look at my bank account, no money one.
Cash flow versus balance sheet. Huge difference.
So then only when I start documenting all this in the YouTube channel, and I realized the gap even more. Like normal people don't even understand the technicality of leasehold. Why leasehold? What is Bumi allocation? What is Malay Reserve land? What is density? What is corner lots? What is this? What is that?
Come to Sarawak even more. Go NCR land some more.
Yeah. So after the education, the formal education of real estate, Malacca's laws very different. Kelantan laws very different. Seremban also very different. So every location is a very different thing. But why do we focus on international teachings?
Yeah, that's true.
For real estate.
Actually, property is very localized, right?
Correct. It's a very micro thing.
Yeah.
Malacca is in Malaysia after all. Right?
Correct. So the thing is that when we apply, then a lot of people will get very influenced by, now in US people buy and sell. Because there people buy buildings, right? They are loaned not as, there's no housing loan, but there's a renovation loan. So they buy first, then they do up the house and to refinance again. So that's how they do it. But then created a lot of culture where the youngsters write to me, I want to buy old houses, renovate and sell again. Good luck.
Yeah, because here renovation, I don't think you can take a loan, right? Most of the time it's new development.
It's almost personal loan.
Yeah.
So you mentioned emails. Now we're going to do a slight switch, but I think the question that led off to this whole hour was really why it was so complicated, and I think you only touched the surface a little bit. You only touched the surface as to how complicated. So since you mentioned email, I really want to get your thoughts, and I suspect this is something that you'd be very interested to answer. So you get like 50, 60 emails a week, right? What are some of the emails, the most common emails, and the biggest mistakes or misconceptions you see people sending you emails about properties and all that? What are the biggest ones?
I think this one I covered quite extensively in the channel. I think we can do a revision. The number one is buying a dream home as a first home. Especially among couples who have yet to get married. So a simple rule is when a couple, there's a guy here. So a couple go into the house, right? Straight away, this is the house.
Lady has to.
Then these are perfect prospects if I'm a salesperson. To me, I can just sell. Imagine your son here running in the park. You don't need to travel very far. Then you just leave it there. Then you got lake. Then imagine you take out your laptop. Then sure sell one. But when they want to buy, then they realize that, one person's loan cannot qualify for it. Then they get joint loan and things like that. So joint loan also means you cannot afford the property.
So there's a key criteria.
So meaning you need two names to afford it, meaning you cannot afford lah. Then if you still proceed with the purchase, then all the people will think very nicely of because this dream home, but they don't know this dream home is super far away from the workspace, the workplace, or is super near. If super near, you 3 generations also cannot afford lah. Laugh so hard. So then after
because
that,
it's so practical advice.
So then they buy very far away, thinking that they are okay with the traveling until they really travel. So now I think in the auction market, because I always mingle around auction markets you see a lot of like so-called dream home purchases all fail miserably because it's just not practical. Like they sell you the dream home with lakes with this with that highways 20 minutes only to city. MCO days normal days give you 2 hours also cannot reach. So then because of that it's not as practical, number one. Then number two, the relationship portion of things, because when you start servicing interest, construction interest, then you pay your portion you're the man you're the woman or whatever, you pay more then you get into this you want to how are you supposed to raise a family if you cannot afford this? You wanted the house then
here we go.
Then I have the email of the girl how to screw the guy and the guy how to screw the girl.
Oh gosh.
All this kind of email. Then to me, in the first place, don't buy lah. So I always encourage the woman to buy whatever, to buy the first property as an investment one. So may it be a studio unit, a small one, but as long as it's close to a MRT, LRT, a CBD, and you look into the rental rates, I think you protect yourself first. So like for guys, then too bad lah. And this is when the unfortunate truth is you need to have money lah. in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
interesting.
because
News
like
to
now,
me.
although like the it's a very popular topic. You rent okay
Yeah,
ma.
correct.
Then if you have a daughter, will you let
Yeah,
your
that's
daughter
different.
marry a son? A
Correct.
person
guy
without
who-
a house.
property.
He's a millionaire. No property, cannot. That's why culturally,
Yeah.
Asians are taught to
Correct.
bought property,
Yeah.
and you will never complain on the amount of properties you have.
Mm.
So yeah, lor. So that is one of the first mistake. The second mistake is a lot of people do research after they buy.
Man, like just
Sounds very
stocks, man.
familiar.
Yeah.
Very
Just like
familiar.
stock, man.
They buy already. Okay lah, buy already. Then they do all the research, right, to justify the purchase.
Yeah, it's a biased research actually.
Then you see here got lake ma. Here got new company going to hotel going to come up ma.
Yeah.
This and that.
Yeah.
So then, it's just to rub on the
The salt on the wood.
Why you crush people's dreams, Sean?
no, but then but the interesting thing is this, because houses, right, are not like stocks in a way
Yeah.
where it's paper, but then it gets really emotional when you buy a house.
Oh, agree.
Oh yeah, man.
Agree.
So when you buy a house, so like I'm in a position where I'm super privileged. I don't need to stay in any houses that I buy myself.
Mm.
So I still stay with my in-law. That's the best.
Perfect.
then, perfect. But then if you were to pay for installment, then you will always think about, hey, what if I rent out? Or then for people who pay rent, right? Hey, it's easier. I make people rich only.
Mm.
Yeah.
Might as well I own the place.
Mm.
So that differentiates, right? Residential focus areas and investment focus areas.
Mm.
So real property players, they play in investment focus areas.
Mm.
Places where by default you will not want to stay.
Understand.
Because it's just
I think that's a
too,
very key point.
like it's super connected, it's super populated, it's damn a lot of people, a lot of business, everything there, but you wouldn't want to stay.
Like KLCC.
Ah.
I wouldn't want to stay in KLCC, to be honest.
So those and those kind of areas, and based on the documentation that I've done, rental means temporary demand for a space
Mm.
in a certain location.
Yes.
So I can only be here for 3 to 4 years. That's why
Right.
it's only sensible for me to rent.
Mm.
Yeah.
But if it's any location like Shah Alam or PJ, right, you can never find a property where the rental is higher than installment.
Nope. Never.
Because anytime a person rent at a rate that is higher than an installment, why am I paying a rental that is higher than installment? Might as well buy.
Yes.
So that will always happen. So these are the areas where they can never find investment category properties.
Mm.
Correct.
But those are simply well designed.
Yes.
So again, then I understand that there are several formats of property investment.
Mm.
Some people buy for capital appreciation, flippers. Some buy for cash flow.
Mm.
Some buy for fun.
Mm.
Some buy for their children.
Mm.
Then some people seriously just don't know where to park their money. And I've seen a lot of this.
Yeah.
They buy factories, right, just to leave it there.
Mm.
Because in books, it still increase in value.
Mm.
Yeah.
Tangible value. Yeah.
And the other mistakes are like a lot actually. You cannot name them all. Like last time I used to categorize as 4 only, the 4 main ones.
Okay.
But you come to think of it, right? Oh, now it's emotional purchase are now going crazy. Like then people are doing buying beyond their means.
Yeah.
In a very, so I believe mistakes are only done when you get greedy lah. You try to shortcut the process and things like that. Then people do multiple submissions and they go burn. So they trick the financial system.
Yeah.
I've seen how people illegally, I take out money and bank into my account again. Then I declare it as a rental income.
What?
Then they fake their salary slips.
Because they want to get a better loan ratio and increase their loan borrowing capacity, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All this for a property that they believe will make them money, but then go kaboom, then habis.
Yeah.
And it's hard to remedy the damage, right?
Whoa, it's so difficult.
Because
So,
it's very difficult to unwind your position.
Exactly.
Yeah.
so like I got one that is miserable. So I recovered from that, but without all those like harsh decisions that I made, like you got any 800 to spend a month.
Yeah.
Just imagine, right?
Yeah.
So whatever Grab. So I didn't install Grab until this year because it was just too expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too expensive to buy food through Grab.
Like this t-shirt is like $12. So those are the habits that a lot of people cannot let go.
Yeah,
That's true. That's
completely agree with you. Actually,
It doesn't help, I think, if you have a partner who also don't want to let go, right?
Yeah,
If it's just you, then it's a battle with yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then as I was doing the channel, then as I look back, right, when I was 22 to when I was 21, it makes sense for me to buy property then. Because I was in a big corporate, I was very steady.
Yeah.
Like I close eye also, I know the income will come, my salary will come in 28.
Yes.
So that's why I gauge on it, I leverage on it. So it makes a lot of sense. But then now, if I'm 21 again with the current technology, it might not be the best thing to invest right now. Because it is only sensible if, again, back to the theory, it's a wealth preserving tool, diversifying tool, but you don't have wealth in the first place to play with.
What to preserve? What to preserve?
So if you start your life with negative 2,000 every month, then your salary only 4,000.
Actually, there's a joke I keep on telling people, Sean, is for most people who follow the conventional path, which is get a career, buy a car, then buy a house, right? If you can get net worth zero by the age 35, I think you're damn good really. Because net worth zero means you would have fully paid out. You have an asset that is more valued than the debt that you had on your house and all that.
That's right.
A lot of people don't even realize this concept that if you don't start off with, if you start off with net worth zero in the beginning rather than a negative, you actually give yourself much more options. Yeah. But saying that at the same time, if you know how to play the game well and you know how to use other people's money and leverage, then it is. But it's like most people actually fall into the category, just follow the crowd. And that's where I think it's very, very worrying.
So speaking, do you have a question?
Yeah. No, I just realized that, we were asking about the developer process and then we kind of diverged.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, that's why I want to go back there, right?
Yeah.
Which is, you mentioned there are 4 key stages for the developer process. And the first one, there are 3 costs, right? The land, the construction, and the last one is
Development.
Then
costs.
4.
Then the profit.
Profits.
Okay. So land one we discussed quite a bit. So let's go into the construction, right? What are the steps? I briefly hear you just now say things like concrete. Start with the concrete and the steel, then you move on to the the cables and the wirings, and then I know right at the end only is the architect lah.
The architectural elements.
Okay. So now why I'm asking this question for those listening as well is because this gives you an idea, right, because we are primarily a stock investing channel. So in terms of construction, right, if you chart out this thing for us, we will know, right, which companies are the least risky.
The value chain. In terms of the value chain, who has the least risk and who has the highest profit?
So let's start with the cement and steel. Are there other guys apart from that?
No. I think now Malaysia use fairly a lot of concrete building methods.
Okay.
A lot of people say like, hey, you can use precast and things like that, but precast like to a certain percentage only.
Okay.
It's sensible because on site wise, it's just not as flexible.
I see.
Right.
People always send us like when I was in construction, like the Lego, you build houses like Lego, dude. You come to site and see.
Yeah. Actually, so what you're saying is that formwork is still more preferred compared to formwork and concrete pouring over precast. That's what you're saying.
Because precast, the pre-construction process is way more intensive.
I see.
I need to be accurate to the MMs,
I see.
Yeah.
Because your piping, let's say if I were to layer level 37, 36, 35, 34 off a bit.
1 degree off, that's it really.
Yeah, because it metastasizes when it grows.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So if I were to build in situ, then it provides certain flexibility. And part of that is also the cost of labor is relatively cheaper in Malaysia compared to those advanced countries.
Yeah,
right.
Then the major costs for buildings are electricals, like the cablings and things like that.
So this is after the cement and steel, then you focus on the cabling. Okay.
Take one step back. Earthworks, usually do they make good margins? People who do earthworks?
Yes. Especially experienced ones.
Okay.
Because sometimes when you do foundation, right?
Yeah.
I think earthwork and foundation is always 2 different contractors.
Of course.
So the earthwork, they earth clearance and things like that.
Yeah.
So for experienced one, I've seen my subcon, they do survey, land surveying where you need the light,
Yeah.
right? He just used that. Okay, this is the center.
Wow.
Then he start laying the cable. Right? Then only when I get the surveyor come and see. So it's a very experience-driven kind of thing. So I know, okay, so cut and fill. So they calculate per cube of land, of soil. So how much. Then if you have a master plan where I have 2,000 acres, whatever I cut from here, I can fill here. Then it's a net. Then I only pay for the lorries and things like that.
I see.
But some, you need to deposit out the land. Then some people can receive land, receive soil, not land, soil.
Okay.
So after that, then you have the foundation. And foundation is based on the guesstimate of what is underneath.
So whether if it's soft soil or whether if it's
so we do soil tests and sometimes soil tests. Then it also plays to the safety factor of the contractor.
This is what I want to touch on.
The engineer, I know where we go. So like certain consultant firms then have a safety factor of 5, 10, or based on whatever their comfort is.
Okay.
And then I get this engineer to tell me like it's like 100 million to build this foundation. Then this next engineer will come. Hey, this engineer is playing a fool.
Too conservative.
You can go lower actually, but then the risk is on the signing consultant.
Correct.
So that is a game where I also don't understand. So why do you want to? So all play on safety factors. But then because Malaysia, we have the previous experience of landslides and things like that. So we are a bit more conservative on that anyway.
Okay.
Then after foundation, then only you build the foundation, the strip. So after you pilings, you got the foundations, then only you start building the buildings. And in Malaysia, high rise generally all the same. You have the car park, whether basement, ground floor, or elevated car park. Then you have the podium for facility deck. I call them the candles, the cake.
Oh, the layer cake.
Cake. Then you have the candles, the towers.
Okay.
Right.
And all buildings are built like that.
Okay.
And it's so templatized to a certain extent where I developed the online purchasing system where you get to design and buy the building online because it's so fixed. Because our guidelines in Malaysia. So again, back to the philosophy of designing, right? Some are built to make money. So you need to have the maximum efficiency, maximum, so you have the maximum profit. So let's say for a corridor, the guideline says 1.4 meters. I will only build 1.4. No point of me being 1.6. So those extra concrete waste money.
Yes.
Waste square feet. Then, for example, the running distance for bomba.
Okay.
So like from a certain room on the corner, you need to have a certain distance away from the nearest door. So with all these different rules all jam-packed together, right, all buildings will look the same if they want to meet a certain level of margin. So you look at layouts. So it's called the floor effectiveness.
Okay.
Efficiency, sorry. So it's the gross sellable area versus the common areas.
Okay.
A gross build up lah. So let's say the lift I cannot sell, refuse chamber I cannot sell, service area I cannot sell, corridor I cannot sell. So those areas will be minimized. I build already I cannot sell one.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
But then the rest all I want to sell. So then if I can jam pack 10 units, 20 units in one layout, then I will make money. So that's why sometimes when I go to reviews, I take up the lift. Oh, this layout makes money way.
Straight away can tell already, right?
So then that's the difference when the developer tries to balance out. Suddenly you have a void in the center to allow more daylight, more ventilation. Hey, this one, you lose a bit of efficiency, floor layout efficiency, but you get a better quality in corridor.
Oh yeah, that's true, yeah.
That's simple nuances to help elevate the quality of a particular place in a way.
Then like ceiling height, we used to debate over 100 mm in floor building.
Okay.
We quarreled because 100 mm is like it's like a ladder.
Yeah.
But then you times 38 floors.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Whole new floor.
Yeah.
Then the thickness of your laminated flooring, is it 3 mm, 6 mm, and what is underneath that things? But because everything you multiply by
what?
Especially high rise, right?
Yeah. So then the degree. So that's why the cost per square feet then becomes a very crucial data for CEOs to make decisions.
I see.
They all play by
That's why you mentioned spreadsheets.
Yeah. So they look at concrete per metric, how much, the curtain walls, the glazing or aluminium and glazing is one crucial cost as well. And that is the representation of the building, whether is it luxurious or not. To me, the more coverage of aluminium and glazing, the more luxury the product is.
I see.
Because bricks are cheaper. You look into low cost one, right? The window like that one. like war zone, people arrow cannot shoot in, right?
Yeah. The castle in the past, where there's the small
window. But then those are functional only. But then when you see new buildings now, it's like floor to ceiling
glass.
So those are very luxurious.
I see.
But a lot of people don't know all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then also the number of toilets. Some developer they sell. They have got 3 bedroom, 3 toilet. Normal is 3 bedroom, 2 toilet. To normal people, big deal, meh?
Big deal. I stay in a 3 bedroom, 3 toilet, and I love it. I cannot imagine staying 3 bedroom, 1 toilet.
Then the brand of the sanitary wares.
Yeah. Oh yeah, huge difference also.
So a lot of people don't know Johnson Suisse, GJH, then Grohe, all these kind of big brands. A lot of people don't know one.
Yeah.
Then they are so crucial on things that is popular, like the hollowness of the tiles and things like that. But people don't look at the more important stuff. So through the channel, I thought this can be curbed and bridged. So back to the development, right? So after the difference, the danger of development is when I said yes to launch at a certain particular price. I've seen like certain topics in the market right now is fully sold. But then because of the current rise of the materials cost right now,
inflation,
labor cost increase as well tremendously. Then shortage of specialist work because everybody would want to rush for work because the construction period very strict. Then everything increase or eats up into the margin. So they built for 4 years, margin like 5%.
Wow, razor thin.
So just to make monthly salaries for everybody lah.
Wow, gosh.
That's where they need to think about the marketing and sales part for their units, right? To spruce it up.
And also, this is provided they fully sold the whole building.
Yeah, the assumption, right?
if they hold half of it or full ownership, right, then it's a huge difference.
Your carry cost, my gosh.
Yeah. Then like the bridging loan as well. Like now, certain developers are so big that they don't even need bridging loan anymore. Their financing and it's their own company.
And financing,
their own treasury and things like that. So then you see the big players keeps benefiting from the system, but then the smaller players are just trying to make ends meet.
I see. So going back to the value chain again, so the guys who are earthwork and also foundation, in a way, do they get a lot of problems getting money in terms of receivables and all that? Are they much better off? Because it's like, I remember listening to, I think it was the YCS podcast, you said that the contractor who is the safest is the guy that holds the keys if construction stops, cannot progress. He's the safest guy. Is that the correct assumption? Because like ID work, whatever, right? The delay is not as bad as if someone stops foundation work. Is that correct in a way?
I think the amount of variables are just too great. In construction, right? And the fun part of it is when I look into cost, it also falls to months. Because like earthwork, the time to not do is end of the year. Because it's rainy season.
Monsoon,
so the cost will be way higher because you do a lot of drainage, especially if I want to do those basement work. I excavate, then rain. Excavate, then rain.
Very sian.
So then, I think the risk for contractors generally it's okay. But the profit. So this is when I think it was a discussion on what I do lah. So like from a developer point of view, generally it's 18-20% of the project. Right? Architect is around 3%, 2% of the construction cost. Then respective consultants at 1%, 0.6%. Right. Upon completion of the project. Contractors generally 10% profit. Right. But construction to me is a cash flow game rather than a capital gain. So every month I claim how much. So I need to balance the cash flow every month. And I recognize the 10% of the cash flow as profit every month. So that's how construction companies work lah.
Okay.
But agency, real estate agents,
No risk.
3%.
Yeah, man.
That is sub-sale rule. But if I were to sell new projects internationally, I get 7%, 8%. Cannot sell, what's my risk?
No holding cost.
But then for the architect, 1% or 1.6% of the construction, he's liable for life.
Yes.
If anything wrong with
The CNS engineer also.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So you come to think of it, then I think this needs to reshuffle. And I think the agency fee of 3% or so is kind of debatable. Last time houses was 180,000, 3%. Okay lah, good enough lah, 54,000, right?
Yeah.
Now it's 1.8 million, right? Then you 3% were very low. So that is when I decide, like, okay, all this, right, it's just not justified in terms of where I want to go. Like, I was a real estate agent, I was making good money, then I go back to developer, then I see all this trouble, right, just to come up with a house that people are not satisfied.
Keep complaining.
Sounds.
And the weirdest thing is that when people look at my company last time, your name card, right, that was the proudest moment I give name card.
Yeah.
Wow, public listed company, wow, make a lot of money. And this was the time when, I think before the last bull run, the bonus for this kind of companies had 6 months, 8 months. Then everyone was just comparing with the IB, investment banking, 36 months. Then, so I would join when the culture was not like that anymore. So it's like 1 month, 2 months, good enough already. And my colleagues now, my ex-colleagues, I think for the past few years,
no bonus.
Because it's getting tougher and tougher.
Yeah.
And then suddenly new implementation of guidelines, then swing again, new implementation, swing again. It's crazy lah. So
Yeah, so I always want to ask you, right? Because we analyze companies, the construction industry every now and then, and we know that architectural companies, firms are that one of the worst because not only are they like right at the end, they're not like the cement guys, but also the time it takes for them to collect money is very long.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, why is that the case?
The culture in the country lah. So in like my friends, my classmates who are working in UK, those are sorted after. Like, hey, we want you to come and design this, and the client needs to get approval from the architect to make decisions.
Wow.
Here, you collect, I pay you, right?
Yeah,
you listen to me.
Yeah.
So there's no expression of
respect and
so to me, then that's why I didn't proceed with architecture. And because I go back to the developer office, right, then these people are just draftsmen.
Yeah.
But I think a crucial responsibility of architect, a lot of people don't know, is the administration part, the contract administration.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between a good project architect and a bad project architect. How familiar are you with the PAM contract?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what is PAM contract. The Pertubuhan Architect Malaysia, the board of architects in Malaysia lah. And you can see in Mont Kiara also, you have successful contractors, not so bright developers. That's why you cannot, and the complication of contract, right? It's when I engage you as my contractor, but you can tell me that I made a mistake. Now you owe me 300 million. Because like this is crucial. I cannot have this portion of the building not being done in a certain way. That's why you need to reimburse. If not, you need to cancel the contract. Then you need to pay me whatever loss. And it's a very terrible.
The whole projects basically.
So I was hanging out in my QS offices last time, and the contract books, they use trolleys.
Yeah. Oh. My wife's a QS, bro. I know.
So the books are insane. So I was helping with the folding of the papers, right?
Yeah.
Bleeds on all my fingers, all bleeds.
Sure, paper cut one.
And it's very, very complicated. And when you have trades, like we all like the supply chain, right? Let's say I built, this main con is one. So like I differentiate into different blocks. Block A, Block B. Block A, one subcon. Block B, one subcon. Then I want the piping guys to be my guy. I have nominated some contractors. So I need to nominate the subcontractor. So you are the subcon, but the subcon for the glass or the plumbing, right, must be my guy. So the payment and things like that.
Yeah.
Then if they cannot fulfill, then who's the replacement?
Yes.
Then there's a constant debate every day for 4 years.
War.
It's
war.
something.
Going to
And then for a particular like public listed companies, then the processes are very tedious.
Yeah.
The tender process, then like everyone must open the contract at the same time, or the tender must open or at the same time, close at the same time. Then who must sign off and things like that. Wow. That's why I quit. Yeah. So then you have the financial bit, then you have the technical bit. Yeah, you tell me you can do, can you show me you really can do? What's the foreseeable trouble of the site and things like that? Then only justify with the cost. So we qualify you whether you can do or not. Only I push down your price.
Yes. You open the technical bit first, ma.
Yeah. Then all this needs to be documented.
Yeah.
That's why then I was young and naive again. Why change one particular color of paint can be so complicated?
Yes. Because of the contracting and tendering process.
That's why now I see a trend of developers not wanting to be public listed. And those are the products that makes money all the time.
Because of the compliance process itself, actually
increase
costs.
You see those smaller developer companies, right? They have fantastic products because it's a person's decision.
One person.
I mean, you have a lot of chefs trying to cook the same soup, right?
Yeah, man.
Then you see, why like that one? Why like that one? Then also I speak to so many investors where they have multiple portfolios are seriously like 12, 15, 25 properties, and they still rent the place they stay. These are the crazy people. Then you listen to them, all their portfolio, not or minimal, are from public listed companies.
They'll buy from, in a way, what the other term for it would be boutique developers.
Yeah, boutique developers. Yeah. And because they are good in speed. Because speed is one of the major costs as well that a lot of people don't take into consideration. Like to change one paint color, right? It takes 6 meetings. Because I can see you from, you are changing manufacturers. Why you sudden change?
Yeah. It's actually compliance costs, MJ. I mean, Sean and I have run projects before, right? You wouldn't believe just to change a screw, right? It's like you need the kampong to decide lah. That's how it is lah. Especially when you have multiple partners again. Let's just say if developer co-development, if you don't trust the other partner, and then
the people you handle people up there, the people down there, and the people sideways.
Yeah. So as an investor, I think it's a very good point that Sean brought up about compliance costs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But how do we know that? I mean, you are in the industry. For a retail investor, how would we figure out? Is it just a general rule of thumb? As long as it's a listed company, there's compliance costs as comparatively to a boutique developer.
But I think that cost comes with certain certainties lah.
Okay.
So like I know they won't zao low. I know it will be comparable to their previous projects. So the projects
that's true.
So because they have all the benefit of track records. Like for example, SimW, right? I always tease them last time, but now it's their marketing campaign. They have built terrace houses ever since USJ was invented.
Oh my god, that's where Gabe stays.
Right? So let's say you have redesigned terrace houses, I think 50 times.
The iteration.
You have came out with the perfect layout for double-story terrace house. Every inch. Right? You go into the house, right? That's why I can basically just draw out for you like freehand, like their layout. And it's the most effective, most efficient. That's why they are making money.
I see.
So I don't have to spend again to reinvent the wheel again. I can just adopt the wheel. Just like Rolex, you look at the bezel and all the size, right? 39mm to change to a 41mm. Wow. All the manufacturing need to change again.
Yeah.
But now we stick to 39.
Hey, then one question, Sean. Why can't the boutique developers, knowing that this is a secret sauce or the best template for SimW, why can't they just copy? Is there an IP protection for this?
No, because their land, it's not definite. If I have a master plan that is like 6,000 acres or 11,000 acres, right? Then it's easy for me to just carve out a portion for landed.
I see.
But for boutique developers, I built on a land that is maybe a standalone land. I don't dictate the form.
I see. Okay.
That's why it's a very customized thing. And usually no more landed already in pocket land developments. So then the high rise then becomes the technical bit.
I see.
So the form of the land ultimately dictates the form of the building. So if it's a triangle, then susah lah.
Do some Lego work. I've a couple of questions. So I think going back to our discussion about the value chain, right? So we talk about cements, the pilings, and then after that we talk about the wiring, and then after that the architecture, right? Now the next question I have, the next two portions, right, is I think the first one is financing, right? So what is, like, when you look at a developer, right, what are good financing habits or financing behavior? Because some of this behavior can go quite crazy, right? Especially in the Wild West in the 90s, right? I think there's a famous story of the Tan Sri Jeffrey Chia.
Yes.
He leveraged to the max, right? But then at the same time, of course, you're not going to buy land and develop things with cash straight away, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think? What are your thoughts on financing when it comes to developments?
Back then, everyone at the same level, no money lah. So everyone was borrowing.
Yeah.
But now I see developers who are building out of their pocket.
That means, like what you said earlier, they are the treasury, they're the bank. These are the guys. Do you think that this was a huge advantage to them?
It gives them the competitive edge in terms of costing. Like, because the BLR plus, last time it's BLR plus, now it's BR plus. Last time BLR, when we buy from a bank, then we need to minus.
Yeah.
Last time, but now developers with plus.
Okay.
BLR plus 2.2. Then now it's a different rate. But then to me, it's also how well the sales process is.
Okay.
So a lot of developers, last time I was debating this, isn't it better to sell lower price to sell out the project faster?
To acquire the customers,
To acquire all the finance. So I can clear off the financing faster. I save financing costs. But then my boss told me, hey, you don't need to take loan one. Oh.
So they can maintain the price that they want.
Yes. And a lot of people don't see, like, besides financing, I think I'm no expert in financing, right? But then in terms of marketing, there's a timeline for marketing actually for developers. Let's say before launch, I can sell until it's completed only.
Okay.
Because when it's completed and I'm still marketing it, it creates a very weird stigma about the project.
I see.
That's 4 years already, still haven't sold out.
Oh yeah, interesting.
So there's a date, there's a timeline for marketing. And if I cannot clear the products on time, I cannot reduce price. So what do? So I go underground, go with bulk purchases to just clear off the properties. And because the initial purchases will be really mad
if you
If you
discount
sell,
it, at a
discount.
cheaper price,
So I cannot make public to this. And the unfortunate truth about the market is these are not made public. You will never know at what price I purchased the property. Until you see my SPA, but you won't know
because
the separate deal also. So that creates another whole different dynamic for developers to clear unsold stocks.
I see.
So I think because of that, then some boutique developers that depends on financing wants to clear off very fast. But I see certain public listed ones, they don't need financing, and so their price are a little bit more stubborn. They demand a certain premium because of their brand.
I see.
And for people who are buying a home, I think it's better to go with public listed ones because you can almost guesstimate the common areas. Like the weirdest thing is that, okay, you know everything about the house in terms of the SPA layout.
Okay.
You don't know how's the corridor, you don't know how's the lift, you don't know how's the facility deck, you don't know how's the swimming pool, the lobby and things like that. And those are not stated anywhere in the agreement.
Because it's only stated in a brochure, but brochure doesn't constitute the agreement, right?
Brochure is a marketing
paper. That's a very important one.
And when you buy already, let's say I fully sold already. By the third year, let's say COVID happened and now I got 2 more years to complete. We overrun the budget already.
Yeah.
So now we are making a loss already. How to minimize loss?
Common area?
from 4x4 tiles, I switched to 2x2 porcelain. Then from
actually makes sense. It gives the developer flexibility. Okay, then it's like, oh, cannot sell, they can sell. Then you start to reduce the quality things.
So like, in the brochure, it's like, grey color. It was pebbles. Wow, like Shanghai plaster and things like that. Then in the end, paint.
MJ, remember Uncle Eddie?
Uncle Eddie.
Yeah, so those are the areas that people engineer. But again, if it's a public listed one, branding makes a big chunk of their...
Correct.
So their consideration. So like, I cannot downgrade everything because it affects my next.
But we've seen one developer quite famous downgrade it, and that's why the video went viral.
The sledgehammer uncle.
Yeah, but that one, to me, it's yes and no kind of thing lah.
Yeah.
Like this uncle was with intent already when he goes to the thing, and it's not up to you to dictate whether the finishing is good or not.
But this, because it was for more furnishing rather than a common area, right?
You can say the stone is not nice. Like how?
It's very subjective. That's
wrong stone.
Yeah. So you want granite, I give you granite already. Why you want some more?
Yeah.
Right. So, but this guy is I think it's with intent. So I think it's not fair to make a statement. But then for a lot of other normal purchases,
okay.
two
ways. One is luxurious one, where they expect the world, like their 1 million is bigger than other people's 1 million. Right. But then the other side of the metric is people who pay 180,000 for a room whip. The wall is okay one lah, sang it a bit okay one. So whether regardless the price of the property, straight things need to be straight lah. The building needs to be safe, functional, and everything lah. I think that needs to be the basic.
I see.
But I think now Malaysians is our building quality is getting there with Classic and Conquest. Classic is the Malaysian version of building quality. Where like you say the stone not good enough, right? There are proper procedures to test whether is it within good or not.
Who pays for this cost? The developer himself.
Developer lah.
Okay.
So because the certification can use as marketing. Then the Singapore version is Conquest.
Okay.
So I'm familiar with Conquest because I was working in Johor.
Okay.
So a lot of Singaporean buyers who purchased our project back then.
I see.
Conquest, what's the grade? Oh, okay. Then only they start. Because they will have a lot of kampong methods in dictating whether the building material or building quality is good or not.
I see.
Kampong methods. I don't know one. What's one?
Okay, like how do you tell the paint is good or not?
Scrape.
No. Xiao mei. So they use the masking tape and tape. See at how many times the paint will peel.
I see.
Kampong one, but that's not the right way. But then
it sounds right though. Sounds correct.
Then I was joking about it when I was handing over a home. Then the client was sliding the ceiling across the floor. So if it buckles, then like, hey,
not straight.
Then they use the light to shine on the wall. Hey, got shadow, not straight. But actually, there are ways. So there are tolerance because ultimately all these are handmade.
Yeah, exactly. So you use either something like a spectrometer
or you use the panel to see, okay, what every meter, what's the tolerance level. You cannot expect like full, they're not AutoCAD ma.
Correct.
Yeah. So because of that, then a lot of developers also lose money because of that.
Yeah.
I would assume,
because of poor quality and things like that, then you need to pay. Again, if it's a public listed company, they will try their best to bring back everything, to bring back the confidence. But then if it's a build and go one, hit and run one, then okay lah, good lah.
But then again, you said that here comes piecing a few knots together. One is like, you said that your high net worth circle of friends who buy property, they like buying boutique because they want the uniqueness and whatsoever. But then you have another circle of people who you would advise that you would, if it's your own stay and you want it to be safe, then you rather go for the listed guy. So what would you advise people who are starting out in a sense? In a sense that when you want to invest into properties, here you are getting very practical projects from public listed companies. But if you want to make good money, it's actually the ones that are the boutique. Where will you advise the guys to start out with?
I think before all that, right, is to get the intent right first.
Okay.
I think in the first timers, right, I think they can never buy their first one because I want to stay, I want to invest So I call a lot of people, actually in Malaysia, not a lot of property investors, a lot of home buyers.
They think they're an investor.
They think they're investor lah.
They buy homes. So, Sean, I got 6 property. No, you got 6 homes. So this one for your weekend lah, this one for your first wife lah, second wife lah. Then it becomes like all costs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so when you really look into like data type, right, those are the properties that most often you won't want to buy.
To stay.
Because it's just not rational. It's such a crampy place. Why would people pay such a high rental and things like that? Sean, I don't like. It's not whether you like or not. You look into the rental and things like that.
Yeah, of course.
That's when the decision-making process becomes very, very complicated. So I will advise first-time buyers, right, to know what's the intent first. Then it's not wrong to buy a home, actually. It's not wrong. But don't overspend on your first home. It's not going to be the home that you retire in.
Yeah.
You know, in first 3 years, 5 years, you think like, wow. Then after that, you want to upgrade.
Yeah, correct.
And then when you want to upgrade, then that becomes a burden.
Yes.
Because it's your dream home, not any another person's one. So don't overspend it. It's best that you get a house that the rental can cover somewhat 80% of the installment. Then you stay 5 years down the road, then you somewhat break even there. Then it's very easy to move out. If not, you will stuck with you forever. Imagine like now the husband and wife buy the dream home together. Both of them can never quit because one person's full-time salary
goes to the house.
Every day you go and work in the office, right? Just to pay the bank.
Yeah.
You're working for free lah. I've heard it said before. You basically
bank employee. They actually work for bank employee actually. Yeah.
Then also there's a saying where properties are products developed by banks. So they create a use for their money.
Wow. I think that was very, very powerful.
But to me, I choose to be in the middle path. No house, you stay in cave, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but then the difference lies between home and investment. Like now I'm gearing up to commercial properties because you see auction market, right? A lot of homes. You don't see a lot of factories. Because the needs are there, but then the players are limited. No one walks around with 18%. No, those are higher, 28% capital, right? For a 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million.
Crazy.
But when those are on sale, the agents, right, 3 to 6 months clear one because business are expanding.
Yes.
So again, how do people make money in the industry? Not really from investment from their properties. It's via business.
Yeah, 100%.
So
spot on.
So when you are investing, like let's say you're buying a home for investment or own stay, right? Investment only if you want to diversify your wealth. In the first place, you got wealth or not,
Right.
If you got no wealth, create wealth first, It's not too late,
Yeah.
Then, like when you have a job and you have a high income up to 5,000, only you want to start to invest. At that moment, you can own a home first. I think it's fine. But then a lot of people buy a dream home, then gear up to a 70% LTV, and that plays down to 7-8 years.
Yeah.
You lose out a lot.
Yeah. Opportunity.
So what's a good DSR in your view? Because when I saw it as a total outsider, I knew 70% is just pure nonsense. I knew that number. I'm not even in the industry. So to you, what is a good DSR?
To me, I wish it was 150. because I know what game I'm playing.
Yeah, correct.
So when I look at the announcement where there's a loan where it's going to be 2 generation, the 60 years loan, to me it's like, wow, if this is a commercial type of loan, I think all investors will go for it. Imagine my monthly installment is like 1/3 of it.
Yeah.
And my rental is market rate. Ooh.
Yeah.
So is it an investment tool or is it a welfare approach for
for rich people?
For people who needs a home?
That's right. Yeah.
So then you come to think of it. So again, back to the person who wants to buy a house, right? First, you need to think about affordability. Like if you earn 3,000, then get something within 3,000 lah.
Yeah.
Then you have 5,000, 10,000. Then look into 20 different properties. I think that's very downplayed. I was taught to go for 50.
Okay.
But 20, I think people give up at 4 lah anyway.
Yeah.
So after you see 20 already, you get kind of used to all the sales pitch,
Yes.
then you really make the decision on yourself.
Right.
I think most people don't go more than 5,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Sean tired already.
Yeah.
Sean. I tired already. All same one ma. Yeah, all same one. Then only when you make a decision, I encourage people to make informed decisions. There will never be a perfect property.
Yeah.
If everything is perfect, you most probably cannot afford it. Lah. Right? So that's the unfortunate truth, but a lot of people don't accept it. Then the way marketings are done right now, where we like PJ property 300,000, you book pay 1,000 to own the house.
Wow.
Then you guess where all are priced in.
Yeah, it's all priced in.
Developer will never lose money one.
Yeah.
Just like social housing. Who is paying for the ultimate bill?
Akong ma. A lot of people think it's Akong. Akong is
They are also if I were to start out today again as a 28, right? It depends whether I need to get married or not. I will delay my home purchase as long as I can. So that's me lah. Then I will invest everything, because again, like in your channel, you all spoke about some you want to diversify everything, some you want to play only the game you understand. That's why in my portfolio, I last time shift from stock market, warrant, stock market, made my money, jiao. Because the stress on being updated all the time just wears me down.
Yeah.
Trump last time make one announcement, market crash.
One tweet.
Now in crypto, one tweet crash. Right? I cannot live with that. So that's why I choose real estate, because no matter earthquake also, the house still there. So that is my appetite. So I'd rather focus on the business or the media to make more money than diversify into a property. So 30 years later, I'm very, very confident it's still there. So for first timers, then these are the things that you need to think about. But then all these will be so overwhelming, they decide not to buy. So
that's where your channel comes in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So with the channel now, you only consume up to a certain extent that you can absorb.
Yeah. Before your brain goes fatigue.
Yeah, because if not, you ask, then public listed or not, then you want outskirt or not, high rise or low rise.
Endless.
The variables are just so varied. Yeah.
And despite all this, right, the easiest or the best sales pitch, right, is your friend buy already, you buy lah. You kick in the herd effect.
And that's very powerful.
And that's the mechanism, the sales mechanism that we all developers use, which is launch, get everyone into the sales gallery, and look into the booking chart.
Hey, your friend here. Your friend there.
Sticker. Then everybody, wow, no, stop already.
FOMO.
We're looking at it. So then in certain countries, where in Taiwan, when every unit is booked, they will celebrate one.
Booked. Okay.
Level 4, 5, so yeah. Then everybody, then you are there, right?
Yeah.
Then, 4 so, then 4, 6 so, 4, 7 so.
Yeah.
Then you kanchong.
Yeah.
You buy.
So speaking of marketing, right? I think this is going to be important. I think so from the investor's perspective, I mean the stock investor, right? What is a good amount that a company should be spending on marketing in your view?
Percentage-wise.
Percentage-wise or any other ways you account for this?
I think different teams have different allocation. I've seen like some they are 3%, some 4% of the GDV.
GDV, okay.
But again, when I spend, back to the story, there's a timeline for marketing. By year 2, my sales is still 10%.
Then you start to panic, really.
So how do I take out budget? I raise the price, then camouflage it as a discount to make it more appealing.
I see.
Then only I repackage it. So there's a price and packaging. So when I look, the common term is the price and packaging. The price may be very good, but packaging sucks. Meaning like, okay, like for one project in Starbucks City, full 10%, no discount. But the price is super attractive. Sold out. Some is price super high, but 30% discount. So which one you want? So people with, so it depends whether you got money in your pocket or not. I got money, I go for this kind of property. I got no money, I go for this kind of property. Then the real successful investors are, they have money. They buy things which is like almost fail proof.
Okay.
They are getting the lowest price in the market already. And then, but then for new investors, wannabes, then I got no money, but all the discounts, then the discipline starts to kick in. Suddenly from zero, you have $10 in the bank account. Suddenly when the bank approves next month, you got 150,000 in the bank account.
Oh,
a whole different, and wow, money makes a lot of difference. Suddenly, hey, why eat in kopitiam? Let's go to restaurants and things. Then 4 years later, only you
Kena.
You go in. It's one, and these are normal stories that I get in the emails again. Really, pretty common.
Actually, I even have colleagues. One thing I noticed is maybe a group of people who just starting out 3-5K have a big appetite. But where I realized the ones that is more difficult to unwind are couples who earn probably 10 to 20 kind of thing. And then they start buying the dream home, which is like in
the bungalows.
The bungalows and all that. And then suddenly one of them cannot, because they have joint loans, one of them cannot make the loan. And then they are stuck with a 45-minute commute. What advice would you give this kind of people?
Whoa.
You can only say you're not 45 years old yet.
Yeah, so it's let's admit it's a wrong purchase. It's a very wrong decision. And I don't encourage people to buy mansions also.
Yeah, because a lot of them, they said, I used to stay in a condo, now I upgrade to something like
it's like they feel like they deserve it.
Yeah,
they have arrived,
Yeah, they've arrived.
I've arrived. This is my reward.
Yeah. And that's the thing about real estate versus stocks. Like real estate, right? I can buy this piece of mansion and people are like, whoa, he's rich. I cannot bring my online account everywhere, hang on my neck.
CDS account.
I got, I got how much in my investment. And I own this property. I can shout to people that I own 4 seasons. Whoa, he got 1 unit at 4 seasons. You hold one stock. What's that one stock that you can be so proud of?
So it gives, in a way, it's like a bragging rights. So
yeah,
very, very powerful emotion, man. And that's why, going back to the discussion on marketing, you guys back in the day, right? Developers, you tap into that psychology, right?
That's the button you push.
Correct. So what are some of the key buttons that you think are key marketing buttons that you think are good practices? So from the investor's side, right, I look at a company, how they do marketing and say, okay, this is good, right? So that's the first one. The second one, as an investor into properties or as a first-time home buyer, what are some of the buttons that developers push that are actually not so nice?
I think now investors, like let's say, like if you want to buy into the company stocks, right? I think now the marketings are not as diverse anymore. Because last time it got above the line, below the line kind of thing. Now everything's online.
So there's not much below the line kind of thing anymore.
It's quite transparent in that sense.
And when transparency is there, then people kind of know everything already. Like in the forum, people openly discuss whether this discount is sensible or not. Last time, people don't know it.
So they use an information arbitrage to, in a way.
Yes. Yes. So accurately placed.
Yeah.
So that's last time people, I give you extra discount, you don't tell people. So now cannot
How to hide?
Cannot hide already So so I think from an investor point of view, the marketing then becomes not a great consideration to be considered. But I think investors are then very influenced by announcements. Block A sold out. Block B reopened soon because of high demand. Oh, I want to buy the store. You see, right? You see, sold out and fully booked, different terminologies. Then Block A, I got 100 units, 30% Boomi allocation, left 70 units. 70 units, then I block one type, let's say the 2-bedroom type, because I think it's going to be super sellable.
Okay.
I reserve all first. That's like another 20%. So the remaining, I open for public. Then business associates. Okay, you get first, I give you discount. Then friends and family, okay, give you discount. Then Dato, you want or not? Tan Sri, you want or not? Bye. Then left to the market, left 30%, 20%. Come, full demand, people cannot buy, people feel good about it.
Yeah.
Cannot book a fully sold. But ultimately, then I make the announcement. It's sometimes very weird that before during launch and the news of fully booked, right, come out the next day.
Plan already.
Stage lah.
Plan.
Yeah, stage. So these are the things that to take note of. So I will look at the SPA sign. But again, these are not made public.
Yeah, you can't go up to the show me all the SPAs of all the buyers.
So like that's why property stocks, it depends on how you analyze the thing lah. But ultimately, you look into the accounts. Ultimately, it's still
Yeah.
I think the sales is one thing, then the progress billing is another.
But progress billing, I don't think property developers are compelled to divulge all this, right? Yeah. Publicly. Even they are public, I don't think they are compelled to divulge. I mean, we had a group chat last night. We were talking about a particular company, and they get their EPCC contractor, mega projects, 7 billion, that kind of stuff, right? I was just asking, he's a QS. I said, do you think that they divulge their progressive billings? I don't think so. Have you seen? No.
Even when you're in a developer, they also don't tell you.
Unless you're in the team.
Oh, wow. So even insiders also may not know.
And because now companies are getting bigger and bigger. It's from the same company, why my product is so much suckier than the other projects, right?
Yeah.
Because it's built by a different team.
Almost like a different company, basically.
Yeah. So like different decision making skill sets, different QS and
interesting.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
That's why it's just, and that's the main reason why I like doing what I'm doing right now. There's no definite, like from this developer doesn't mean that it won't suck.
Yeah.
Or it's from this developer, it doesn't mean that it will be.
It's a case by case basis, your video essentially, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So even from the same company, that why in this detailing like that?
Very different. It's like same father, same mother, different. No, same father, different mother. Whatever.
Then the design philosophy, then sometimes why different? So you look into the governance, like certain developers, when from Johor to KL to Penang, the landscape treatments are the same.
Okay.
And they are super proud of it. Then that one, I'm very impressed.
Okay.
Then
the consistency.
Some in like side by side also different.
What? Serious?
Don't they just look over the fence and say, hey, how come this corridor?
Show me your answer.
Yeah.
But I think what would be interesting for your audience, like for stocks point of view, right, will be the phasing of launching.
Okay.
So let's say if I got 1,000 acres, how do I start? So I will sell at a losses.
You sell at loss first?
Sometimes.
Okay.
It depends on how rich the company is.
Okay.
So or I just break even.
Okay.
Then it creates the hype, fully sold. Then phase 2, I sell higher. But then I camouflage it with better specs.
So you say, you get this upgrade.
Last time empty one, now a bit furnished, semi-furnished.
Got put aircon, put whatever lah.
So like say now 500,000, same, it's 550,000. Then third phase, okay, we increase 10%, 600,000 now. 600,000, but you see our size different, bigger a bit. Then I now go for, last time individual title, now strata. Then now I go for luxurious. Then now this one got clubhouse, got security. Then I go super low. Then I go for 380,000 one, which is like last time 2475. Now it's like 2075, 2060, something like that. So it's just because the worst thing is when my latest product is cannibalizing the existing customers one. So the first phase, like property buyers, right? I buy a 2475 with 500,000. I'm selling at my latest launch is 380,000.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
And then it will affect the sub-sale.
Understand.
But then the weirdest thing is also when the sub-sale prices are dictated by the launching price of the developer for their latest launch. How you tell me the market rate is now 700,000 because the developer launched at 750, same size, different specs, but you want cheaper specs, so you think and assume yours is at the same price.
I see.
And that fix the market price.
Understand. Perception.
So the developer then needs to make the decision, okay, do I cannibalize? Then I can make cash flow. Or do I maintain,
hold it out.
hold it out, but I lose money, temporarily, no sales, but then everyone happy.
That all depends on how rich the company is.
Again. So all these decisions are then very, very different. So like one of my projects, I think it has a 4 years project, but then left like 6 units of landed, right? Then, okay, do I make a loss just to clear off? Because ultimately it's fully paid for. Loan paid already. So all these are cash.
Understand.
Direct to the end, end line, right?
Yeah.
But then when I sell at this price, I will offend the entire township of earlier buyers.
Yeah.
But if I don't sell at that price,
Cash flow.
then these are just hold as assets, and then every year maintenance lah, this lah, that lah. Then it's a huge debate lah. So those kind of thing.
There's
you need money lah.
Long to short, you need holding power lah and money, which literally is money lah. Yeah.
So again, it differs from project to project, location to location, CEO to CEO.
Yeah.
So if you have a CEO that only works on the performance of that year, so he's qualified for the bonus.
Yeah. Or then the decision making will be very different, man.
Versus if he's the founder or MD of that particular company.
Oh yeah, man.
He has to withstand the brand. Again, it depends. So like last time I majai I follow this boss. His decision making, I want bonus for everyone. So I sell cheap just to make money first. Or I want to maintain the pricing. So in the long run, I want to make money in the long run or in the short run. Yeah. So sometimes when we oversold the property too fast, we will need to answer in the boardroom.
Understand.
Are you giving my properties away?
Yeah.
It's a wrong pricing. If it instantly sold out, right, it's a wrong pricing.
Yeah.
The best pricing is when I think like, good lah, but then a little bit more. Then people need to think about it. Then that's a right pricing.
I see. Oh, that's a very good point.
That's the equilibrium lah.
The equilibrium. So like, a little bit more. Then you also right. But the risk again, once I release my launch price, there's no turning back. So it's easier to start low. Then I start pricing it upwards.
Understand.
Then that's when I have block A, block B, block C, block D. Actually, it's the same product, but then people sell you differently.
Phased.
So then I play with the finishings. 2x2 tiles. Now I give you 3x3 tiles. I give you marble. I give you this. I give you that. But ultimately, right, when you buy property and when you sell property, right, will you pay more because it's marble?
No.
Unless you really love it.
If you really love it, what you can do is you're rich enough, you hack through the whole thing and build
replace with your own marble.
Exactly.
So actually that got me a thought, right? If that's the case, right, because we look at stocks very often as well, is that then perhaps, right, some of the best developments might be the ones, right, where the main business of the company, right, is something else. So like for example, Scientex is the largest in Malaysia when it comes to like plastics and all that.
Yeah.
And they have, I think, land in Johor or something like that. Then, recently we talked about the MFCB.
Yeah.
They run PJ8, Mega First.
Yeah.
So do you see that trend where actually the best kinds of developments are the ones where the parent company actually owns like a proper cash flow generating business so that it doesn't have to have that debate?
The property is kind of like by the way kind of thing.
Yeah, the by the way kind of thing.
Yeah. Have you seen those evidences?
I cannot answer from an investor point of view.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I've not done enough work there.
Yeah.
But then if I were to work in such companies, it would suck.
Why?
Okay.
Because again, like a lot of people think that property development makes money. But I need to gear up so much risk.
Correct.
For a 10% profit if I were to sold out in 4 years.
Yeah, that's a maybe also.
And that's a maybe, right?
Yeah.
Then what if I just focus my resources on the manufacturing business?
Yeah.
With certainty I can make money.
Correct.
Then I just wait out these 4 years. The profit would have been better. A bit less risk.
Yeah.
So whatever project that we propose on that particular land will never get approved by the management.
Because too much risk, right?
Too much risk for that minimal amount of
profit. Understand.
Might as well I just create a construction arm and list it and unlist and list again.
That's Actually, we have a joke in our various WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups. they see today, this is a slump for the property sector, you know. The joke is, if you see any property developer listing, it's actually not to make you money. It's actually a bailout. Yeah. I don't know whether you agree that statement.
Yeah. Totally.
It's so capital hungry.
Yes. No, because
crazy.
you know there was I think you know which Telegram group I'm referring to, right? The more we see property developers listing at this point of time, it's like. They need money for survival. Right?
Yeah, because it's really, imagine, it's like from the perspective, if I was a CEO, right, and from the perspective of the CEO or the founder, right, my life is really so complicated. And on a list of all, why would anyone
through all that
do that? Why would anyone be a madman and do that?
Yeah.
Only if they have to raise money.
Yeah.
Without going to the bank.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I think we gotta end it already. The podcast.
How long is this?
It's 2 hours 15.
2 hours 15 already.
So
we're not gonna go for the 4 hour. I do have one technical question.
Can.
Yeah, just because I play badminton with a friend who is in construction, and he told me that infra contractors make more money than the normal.
Yes.
Why?
First, scarcity of players.
So when you say scarcity, what do you mean? Because of the tools they have, the machinery they have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the connections they have.
Because it's a government. Infrastructure equals got government.
And the simplicity of the work. Lay pipe only ma.
Oh, okay lah. Or make roads only lah.
Make roads only ma.
Okay.
But I just need to make 100 km.
Understand.
Instead of like complication of a small project, but then there's so many variables so many mistakes they can make.
Yeah, the reason why I want to make that distinction was because when a lot of investors go in and they think construction players, right? Actually, that distinction is very, very important.
Yes,
very, very important.
So last time as a construction, I was in the construction team.
Yeah,
we prefer commercial projects compared to residential. Commercial projects are more direct. When I hand over, offices are bare. So you cannot complain much.
Yeah.
Then it's fast.
Yes.
Because it's duplication. Like office towers, I just built the floor plate the same. Residential, this one got 12 units, this one got 15 units, this one got 8 units, this one got facility, this one got double height, this one got this. It's complex.
Yeah.
But for less money.
Yes, for less money. For more work, less money.
Then for commercial projects, it's like just whack. Infrastructure whack. That's where they make money.
Understand.
Like the richest subcontractors I know are those that build STPs, sewage treatment plants.
Oh yeah. My friend also mentioned about this. He loves they love to go into water treatment plants or this kind of things and roads, because one thing he mentioned was very difficult to quantify. Because like if you build shop lots or whatever, right, you can calculate the steel whatsoever. But road, right, how you want
everything late habis
you late that's it you know how you're gonna call it.
It's a good point also. Like I also think that it is more. I think the customers you're dealing with is more fewer and also more rational. Like if you do a water treatment plant, you're talking to engineers, you're talking to
functional, not preference.
Whereas if you build like a condo and all that, luxury home, all that, people bring sledgehammer. Right.
All right.
So I just want to end last bit, really about YouTube, right? Because I think that is probably your biggest passion, or at least being online, giving out content. So, where I think most of our listeners, or if they're living on the rock, please go and Google IHERNG. But most of us know that you're doing review of properties from a very interesting angle, which is more architectural, or rather in combination with the typical property review.
Yep.
And that's where you are right now, right? So I just want to get a sense, right? What is IHERNG going to be in 5 years? Where do you want it to be, rather?
Honestly, I don't know. Never thought of it, because I'm a moment kind of guy. So I'm truly enjoying the moment where I think the channel opened up like to you guys. And you guys know me through the channel.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of new friends via the channel, and it has given me a lot of access to different platforms that I could only imagine last time. Like now I could have the privilege of having MDs into the show to one by one talk like that. Never if I'm the chut zai or the ma zai last time, I don't even dream. Okay. Then Personally, selfishly, I want to document 1,000 different projects. So that's the number. How 1,000, I don't know. It just sounds cool. But
so
then
you're at number what now?
I'm at, I think by this week it's 157.
All right, man.
Yeah.
So I
5 more years, no problem.
So I've seen 157, but personally I've visited. So averagely in a year, I will visit 200 over properties.
Wow, okay.
Then because sometimes got security problems, sometimes got rain problems, sometimes got technical problems, so those videos cannot come out. Then because to me, how I just don't understand, like, how can you call yourself a guru if you have not seen enough?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, the thing is now a lot of people fall into that trap where they get into the hype of the person's personal branding.
Yeah. That's right.
The suave and the charisma.
Yeah. This person, wow, you listen to him talk, wow, macam yes. But so I've personally seen like property writers or whatsoever, right? He's teaching people how to make millions in property, but he has no properties. Really? Yeah. Wow. And that is where I think, like, for those who are listening, right? Like, I think whoever guests in your channel, I think there's a gap. People who really know their stuff don't
like
want to
the
really
market.
share.
Yeah,
Yes.
Why I want to create another competitor?
Yeah.
Why? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Then on the other side, people who don't know anything try to make money out of your classes fee.
Correct.
So yeah. And that seems to be the weirdest thing about the channel, when a lot of people thought that I'm an agent. Not really. I'm a YouTuber. Not really. Because I still have a full-time job on top of whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Then, like, how is this guy? Then a lot of people forget that I'm an investor first before the channel. Then based on whatever that I'm spitting in the channel, right? Then a lot of people are like, hey, you are relatively young, and in the construction side of things, you need a lot of experience.
Correct.
You need to cast concrete for at least 2 years to really understand what is concrete casting.
Yeah.
But yeah, because of the
intensity of your
my
training.
experience.
Yeah.
It was not by choice, but but I'm very glad that I met a lot of those kind of mentors that taught me across. Now at this particular moment of time, a lot of audience are writing in saying that, hey, because of your channel, I managed to pull the trigger for my very first property. And whether or not is it making money, right? I'm glad that it was an informed decision.
Yeah.
It was a calculated risk. So they cannot, or they won't, like, blame people.
I understand.
Hey, because of him, I buy. Because of you, I buy. So because of myself, I bought. I'm trying to cultivate this accountability culture.
Rather than abdication of accountability.
You make money, you're genius. You lose money, people's fault.
Yeah.
So and because it's a personal passion of mine, so I don't think it's anything troublesome at all. Like, if not for the channel, I'm always in property. Like if I were to come, that's why I'm always early for podcast sessions like this, or in any podcast where all the people, crazy one, Sean, come way earlier one. Because I get to check out the properties around.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will go and look at the drain. Is it exposed? Is it closed?
Unless our podcast in a Padang.
Then I'll look at what kind of grass.
The
The cow grass is different.
Maintenance of different types of grass.
So and property is one thing that is not as transparent again.
Yeah,
and it's
that's right,
ever
that's right.
changing.
Yeah.
So, like, when I shift over, like, from stock investing to property investing, right, I realized that gap.
Oh yeah.
Not everything is on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, personally, I'm very fascinated. And now, if I were to look back at episode 1, the first project that I've reviewed, now is completed. So last time it was 600 per square feet. Now it's 1,003 per square feet.
Wow.
Double.
And last time when I tell you, buy this, you didn't listen.
Then you can tell people no?
So then we'll build up credibility.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen this place without MRT, and now with MRT and mall, it makes a difference. Because last time I've seen places without LDP and with LDP. You say only, everybody can say, but now I'm documented.
Yeah.
And personally also, because of me reviewing everywhere, I know where to buy first. So, like, for this MCO also, I've, like, gearing up a lot of property myself because we believe there's going to be a bull run.
Yeah.
Like, whenever we see material cost increase, labor cost increase, and you expect the property price to drop.
Don't.
Margin is already single digit. Everybody looking to bail out already.
Yeah.
So like, how is it possible? Like, how you build a house and still lose money?
Correct.
So meaning it's selling at the wrong price, ma.
Yes. But that mispricing only happens for a certain stint of time only, ma. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So before we end, I also want to get a sense, because we are all on YouTube, right? Definitely we at a much lower level than yours in terms of this next question, which is some of the massive challenges, because you're at a certain profile when it comes to the property market, and that comes with its own challenges, whether it's privacy, whether it's trolls, whether it's silly emails, whether it's maybe competitors, bad mouthing you or whatnot. So what has been the biggest challenge right now, being at the level that you're at?
To me, I have adopted this mindset where I will ignore both the trolls, also at the same time ignore those kind words.
Interesting.
You can only choose whether you want to enjoy both or you don't. So I only create for what I like. And I think that is very important for people to like you for who you are first.
Yeah.
You'll be just a people pleaser all the time.
Yes.
What people
exactly.
want, what people want, what people want. Then you will lose stamina in your content creation.
Yeah.
To me, I slept at 2, I woke up at 5 to edit ready. So I can't wait for the next video to be out. So to me, that is the driving force behind. Then I think like what the vanity scores, I think if you need it for survival, then it's very different.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people use the YouTube money for survival. Different. If it's a marketing channel for like what you guys are doing, for a lot of other businesses, then it's a different thing. Like for me, I will encourage people who with businesses, I will create a channel and I'll switch off the ads. So to make more people come to my channel, and then it becomes a big funnel. And ultimately that will become a separate brand altogether. So now I would encourage more smart people because I believe there's a shortage of content in YouTube.
Oh yeah,
good content.
Even with so many channels.
So that I think there's like 50,000 hours of content being uploaded every minute. But I personally still think that there's not enough good content in the... That's why without hesitation, when you guys ask me to come, I'm all the way. Because I want to encourage more creators. That's what happened to YCS as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So a lot of people that, Sean, what's your motive behind? To me, I want to give out more.
Yeah.
Like, why does it have to be like my subscriber counts, right, be the indicator of my quality?
That's right. That's true.
And it's so important because I think one of the vanity metrics that a lot of content creators go for is actually subscriber count, which is ironically not as important as quality.
So I think that's only about the matter of time.
Yeah.
Like all the people are very discouraged when there's no subscribers.
Yes.
But then that's also like somewhat an indicator lah. Like you can be an artist that you are in your own world, you paint things, but you cannot survive.
Yeah.
So you need to take a balance.
Yes.
So it's your decision to make. You want to play the long run or short run.
Correct.
Maybe your work can worth billions when you die.
Yeah.
When there's scarcity to your work. So it's really up to your strategy as a content creator. And I would suggest that whatever guest that comes, right, I would really encourage a lot of them to share.
Yeah.
So knowledge is only worthwhile when it's when you are the medium for it.
Yeah.
Yes, rather than being kept.
Yeah, and just to share from my perspective is that people who are experts, like you say earlier on, they don't want to create new competitors. The thing I realized, right, is actually even when we are very open with our own strategy and all that, then naturally people ask like, why do you need, if you are making money, why do you need to share? And that's a legitimate question, right?
Yes.
For me, right, for two reasons. One, right, with what we do, most people won't do the work.
Yeah.
Like you say, hey, you review 20 properties, they'll stop at 4.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried on that.
Yeah.
The second reason actually why to encourage people who are experts and in their field to share is because, right, when you're online and when you share your knowledge, people like you can find you.
Yeah.
And so you're then building that network. I think since we started, it was ridiculous.
It's like ridiculous. The kind of people we're meeting, the kind of networks that have opened. I tell you, it's mind blowing.
Right. This is the amount of subscribers we've grown to. This is the amount of money we've made.
Yeah.
This is the amount of people we've met.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
And that is an ROI that you can't really calculate, but it's massive.
Just to add on to your point about being online and experts coming to do is this. When you deem yourself as an expert, actually you should be more humble. And what I mean by that is that by getting or expanding your network and sharing what you know, you're encouraging a pool of people to give you feedback.
Yeah.
And when you get that kind of feedback at people playing at the top of their game, what happens to your game? I think that's even more important. That's something that I've learned, because in a way, we're starting a crypto channel soon. I think by the time this podcast comes out, I'm so excited because when I get to meet people like you, Sean, I get to meet people within the circle of investors, and they are at the top of the game. When you already sharing and paying it forward, right, you are likely to encourage that kind of behavior as well. And that's something that I am really, really, excited about.
And just to give a sense, right, look, Warren Buffett, arguably the most successful investor of all time, he spends 4 hours every year on his AGM to share his wisdom.
Or longer.
6 hours sometimes.
Yeah.
Every year he does it. So there's hours and hours of content about his strategy and all that.
Yeah.
And his stock still grew by like 1,000,000%. I'm not joking about that number, 1,000,000% right?
Yeah.
So it really, that is one of the realizations I got also, which is actually you share also that it doesn't cost.
Less than 1% of people are going to take action.
Correct.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, like, put it this way, we do coaching and we teach people this, right? I have a joke with MJ. Those people that buy our courses, whatever, and we don't make tons of money out of it, 80% will fall through.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to put in the work. It's not they don't want. It's like there's no motivation for them. Like what you say, you bring people, review property. For the one I bought in Mont Kiara, Sean, I reviewed 16. Even then, my wife was about to give up already. I said, no, let's go for another one. How many people are willing to put in the work? So we
and yours are on. Yours can be done on table.
Exactly.
Not property
not under
crazy.
the sweat, under the sun.
So a lot of people don't know, like, if you go to a weekend, Saturday, you just make 2 appointments, 3 appointments. You will sweat, then you get hungry, then you get dirty, then you know what, cincai lah, just buy one.
Exactly.
Some more Malaysian weather.
Yeah.
Right, Sean, it's been an absolute pleasure to get you on this podcast. We would love a part 2 if you're okay with it. Because we want the combined podcast to beat the YCS one. That's the key. That's the key.
You see, I told you he had a fetish for it, right?
That's the key, man. But no, jokes aside, right? Just to end, where can people find you?
Everywhere online. Generally, I'm more active on YouTube and TikTok and LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook. Generally, it's all. Then I started a Twitter account. I started a BitCloud account.
Are you still on Clubhouse? Are you still?
I'm still there, but then it's like a place for people to shout out their title only. So, but I'm there for live Q&As though. So I'm there randomly. So if somebody just there, so we will chat about, because property is also like contextually, is your second property or your 50th property is different. Single income, double income, different. Yeah. So you can just find IHERNG on any platforms. I think by Google, so you type IHERNG, everything will come out already.
Sure.
All right, man. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. And guys, I'm very sure you got a lot of value out of this podcast. And anything property, I'm quite sure if you're, especially in the Klang Valley region, and you are thinking on this property and you're wondering whether they should get it, I think when you Google the name, IHERNG will probably be there. And as you hear, he has a target of hitting 1,000 projects reviewed. And guys, see you in the next podcast.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.